Hi everyone, hope you're all well. Welcome in. So I just saw this thing on like creatine and so because people saying that it's not just for like building muscle or strength, that there's other benefits as well, such as improved recovery. They even say it can help with like if you have sleep deprivation, that it can help to mitigate the effects of that. Also improving the grey matter in your brain or something, and like making you have better focus and things like that. So they also say that it can possibly, in some cases, help with neurological decline in old age, like because obviously when you get older and you can end up with like like when you get to like early stages of dementia and things like that. That I remember they were saying that it can help to either slow it down or mitigate some of the symptoms of it. So anyway, hope everyone's well tonight. Feel free to ask questions. So is everybody okay then? So we're back to my setup. It was, for some reason it was not working last night, so I thought I'd try it again. So I was like, it was kind of just messing up. So anyway, good evening to you all. Hope you're all well. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. So this is for you guys. This is to come and interact with us and sort of get to know each other. It's all about learning. It's about sharing things with each other and sharing wisdom, experiences. It's just about we come together and we can sort of synergize. The sum of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. If you've got people together, they can really sort of like, we can amplify each other's effect. This is why unity is so powerful. We come together and we're so much more powerful than when we're alone, when we're divided. Coming together, we are a lot stronger and we're a lot more powerful. So anyway, welcome in guys. I hope you're all well. I don't know if it's not showing any comments on here, so just let me know if you're here, people. I'm not seeing anything yet, so let me just go on the watch page and just have a look on there, because I'm not seeing anything on the on this thing. There's nobody in the chat yet, so anyway, if anybody's watching, could you hit the like button please? That would be really appreciated. I know it's a bit late tonight, so sometimes I can be a bit late, but I just got a bit distracted, so so I put a short out earlier. I thought I'd do something a bit different for it, then so get to check that out when you get a chance. So anyone got any plans for the weekend? Anything interesting? Don't think I'm doing anything myself, but we'll see what happens really. It's been quite hot today, but it's been a bit of a breeze, so it's not been too bad. When there's that breeze, it's actually okay, I find. That breeze just helps to kind of make it a bit more kind of feel more fresh. So I'm just going to give Pulse and Iron a like. Yeah, he's doing a live right now, so anyway. So yeah, keep the chat flowing, guys. Actually, no one's even chatting yet, as far as I'm aware. I mean, just get chatting, guys, if you want to help me out here, because right now there's like nothing going on. So I just gotta give it a chance, I guess. And sometimes it takes a while to pick up. So yeah. Okay. Is everybody okay then? Can anybody hear me? What's going on here? Why is it so friggin' quiet? I don't know, but somebody just come and say something, like I'm just talking to myself here, you know? Oh well, this is what it is. So yeah, so I've just been, yeah, like I said, you know, like just doing the creatine. I started the beta alanine, but that's something I've been looking into. Let's see if there's any other benefits of it as well, other than just performance benefits, like, because like with creatine, it's found in the brain, so that's why they're saying it could be almost like a nootropic type of thing. So let's see what it's saying about the health benefits of it. So yeah, hello Feline, what you on about? Just talking about health supplements at the moment. Just looking at, yeah, so like to like improve performance as well as improve things such as mood, things such as brain performance and things like that. Just look into optimizing things and not leave any stone unturned. So like if I can find something that's cheap, I can just add into my routine, then yeah. So how are you doing, Phil? Is it feline, or is that how you pronounce? I guess it's like feline, like a cat or something. So I think of like feline, like a feline and canine or something. Like canine's a dog, feline's a cat. So I guess that's how you pronounce that, right? Anyway, introduce yourselves, everybody. Where's everybody from? Like, just, I don't know, just come and say my name's Jamie, I'm from the UK, and I'm 29 years old. Hello Cheyenne, hope you're doing well, thank you for stopping by. Are you going live later? I might stop by if you go live later, but yeah, I'm going to be on here for quite a while, so yeah, so it depends really, but anyway, have you learnt any new songs? I know something that you've been doing your singing, haven't you? So yeah, just keep at it, you know. Yes, a cat. Oh yeah. So does that? So you have a cat or something, or is that just your name? Like, what's that about? So hope everyone's well. So what's everybody been up to? I'm okay. Just had surgery for a ruptured spleen. Oh, that sucks. Well, I hope you're feeling better. That's yeah, luckily I've never really had any surgery, so yeah, just fingers crossed. But yeah, been quite lucky really, but you know, a lot of people have been through some horrible stuff, but you know, gotta remember, there's always somebody worse off, so yeah, no problem, Shen. I breed top cats, bro. Alright. You mean like, almost like you get like the pedigree dogs, so like where they breed them for like, you know, like the top ones sort of thing. So it'd be like pedigree cats or something, I guess you could call it, I guess. I don't know. Have I got that right? Is there even such a thing? Yeah, so oh, that's pure breed. That's pure breed, not hang on. That's when they don't have a mix of different like breeds, isn't it? So that's a bit different. Yeah. So there's a thing called the Cat Fanciers Association. What the hell is that name? Like, can you believe that? There's literally an association called the Cat Fanciers Association. That sounds pretty messed up. I don't know, maybe it's just my brain, but that sounds kind of like a bit effed up, doesn't it? You know, that like I don't know, the Cat Fanciers Association. Yeah, that sounds like some kind of old top cats or bred horde. What do you mean? I hope you all had a good day today. Share this out if you can. Hello, Preenan. Cat, what we're just talking about, because Feline Mary apparently breeds top cats or something. And I just found this thing, there's a thing called the Cat Fanciers Association. Like, what the hell? Like, why would you call it that? Isn't that a bit weird, to calling it that? I don't know. Because it sounds like something else. Like, it sounds like some friggin' bestiality shit, you know? Anyway, yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it, you know? Anyway, hope you've all had a good day today, people. But each to their own, I guess, whatever. Although I love cats. I love cats, I love dogs, and the people of Springfield, they're eating their cats, they're eating their dogs. They're eating their pets. I feed my cats and dogs McDonald's. I give them the scraps of McDonald's and I don't want to eat that. So I give it to my cats and dogs. It saves me having to buy pet food. No, not good. It's a very stressful day. Oh no, that's not good. But yeah, it says about this device has been overheating. I've just got to be a bit careful with that. It says that there's an overheating protection setting or something. I don't know how to do that right now, but anyway, I hope you've all had a blessed day. Share this out if you can. That would be really appreciated. So yeah, where's everybody from? Yeah. Is it Preenan? Is it Preenan or Ireland? Top of the morning to you. Fuck me, just. Yeah. You got a pint of Guinness. Oh yeah. They love their Guinness over there, don't they? Oh, Heathrow. Oh yeah, that's London, isn't it? Yeah, it's one of the London airports, isn't it? Yeah. So you got Heathrow, Gatwick. Well, actually, Gatwick isn't even. I think Stansted are not even in London, are they? But they call them London airports, but they're like, well, there's London City Airports, like an actual London airport. Is Heathrow is that still in Greater London? I'm not too sure, but yeah, just watched Irish series Bodkin. Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, what's that like? Is that a like drama sort of thing, or is it what kind of series is it? Like, what's the kind of thing about? Like, don't really watch a lot of TV stuff. I've watched a few episodes of In-Betweeners. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that, but it's quite a funny show. Where are you from? From my mother's womb. Well, I live in York now, but I'm originally from Blackburn. But yeah, so my accent's more Blackburn accent really. But yes, to be funny. Yeah, it's a good one. Oh, it's a crime show. Yeah. Yeah, but I look to watch a bit of like true crime sometimes, like like you'll get these true crime documentaries and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll watch a few of those. Yeah, so you get some kind of like crazy stories, but yeah. But I think to myself, why am I like seeking that stuff out? I'm like, why am I watching that type of stuff? I think to myself, why does that stuff interest me? I don't know. It's not like I'm gonna go out and commit crime or anything, but it's like, why is that stuff really appealing to me? I don't know. It's like this whole thing of like morbid curiosity or something. I don't know, but don't know if anyone's into like true crime, but yeah. I heard something about the whole McCann thing, that there's apparently been some guy come forward with some so-called like testimony, but some reckon is a fraud, which is probably the case. And people were saying there was some kind of inconsistencies going on with it, and it didn't seem to add up. Why do you have weed things around you, son? It's just like a kind of it's more just to have some kind of just to spice up the life a bit. But anyway, it's just leaves, isn't it? A backdrop. Yeah, it's like a backdrop. Yeah, I'm using Prism Live right now, so it's like a backdrop that I use. So you can change it to different things, but I don't know if I should change it to something else. Like I can change, like I'll show you now, I can do different ones. Like for example, I could do that. Maybe I could just have it on that or something. Or there's another one I could do. Hang on. I could try some different ones, like this one. Maybe that one. I don't know, but yeah. Hello Tom, how are you doing? Great collage. Oh yeah. So you prefer this one, do you? Anyway, it's just I wanted to make it a bit more kind of interesting, I guess. But maybe this one looks a bit more professional, I guess. It's just having weed. I don't know, maybe people might associate it with like friggin' 420 culture or some crap. I don't know, but Prism's got like a whole bunch of things you can do with it. It's like got some different effects and stuff you can use, but yeah, it's a fun little app for your phone if you want to go live. But yeah, you can put like a sort of thing with like scroll at the top. So you prefer this one then? But yeah, it kind of does look a bit like weed, but yeah. Both good. Well, that's okay then. You look like a stoner. Well, a lot of people think I give off a stoner vibe, so it kind of fits with that, I suppose. But I'm not like intentionally trying to act like a stoner. But some people get that impression. But as they say, don't judge a book by its cover and all that kind of thing, and not, just kind of, assume things based on like, their first impression. It's not always right, but yeah. Anyway, so hope everyone's well. Feel free to ask questions, share out the live if you can, and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, we're gonna try and get to 3,000 subs soon. So yeah, if you can share it to your friends, your family, whoever, then go ahead. Yeah. I'm a stoner. Actually, I'm not a stoner anymore because I was a stoner because Elon Musk, he was a stoner and I became a stoner. And then I've divorced Elon Musk. We've gotten divorced. We don't have a relationship anymore. So I'm my own person now. I don't... Yeah, it's not legal in the UK technically, but yeah, I know it's like legal in some states. I remember when it first started becoming legal in some states, because in America they tend to be a bit more, they tend to be a bit more for that type of stuff, whereas in the UK they tend to be a bit more When it comes to that type of stuff, they're a bit more, just like, I don't know, they don't like that kind of stuff really so much. But the thing is that people will still do it anyway. Like, a lot of people will still do all that. I have no idea. You showed up on my stream and I see I'm subscribed to you. No idea how. Maybe you just came across me before and then like, oh well. But yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, like I've been talking about, like my fitness journey and all that kind of stuff. Don't know if you saw my last short where I was like hopping up the stairs. Yeah, but each to their own. What do you mean? Yeah, are you on about the whole stoner thing? I mean, I have no problem with it, but I feel like it shouldn't really be normalized so much. If everyone starts doing it, then they could start kind of. I don't think it's still great for your health because it's like you're still putting ash into your body, which is not good, is it? It might arguably not be quite as bad as smoking, but you're still putting smoke into your body, whether that's from tobacco or whether that's from weed. Yeah, it's not going to have all the chemicals it has, but it's still not great, is it? Oh yeah, the hash thing, yeah, like it's just one of those things. But I wouldn't try and like condemn it or anything like that or shame people for doing it. If they want to do that, that's up to them. I've been in live streams about 420 and all that, and it's like they're usually like a cool bunch of people and all that. They're usually pretty chill, so they're not usually like bad people or anything. Hello Vincent, good to see you. How are you doing? Welcome in here. Their choice, their funeral. Well, yeah, that's it. I feel like as long as you're not trying to try and push things on other people, then I don't have a problem with it. If it's something that's more about your own health choice, as long as it's not affecting other people, I don't have a problem with it. That's how I see it. More kind of like you could say more libertarian kind of perspective on things. I mean, I actually think that like there's the idea that basically if people want to smoke in a pub, let's say, they should have certain pubs maybe where they allow that perhaps, and that way you could have certain people who really want to smoke, they could go there, and then I don't know. It's like we should, but then some might say that's bad for the health, and it's gonna cause more health problems and stuff. But at the same time, like a lot of pubs have really suffered because of the smoking ban and all that. So it's one of those things that but obviously social media has been a big part of it as well. I think just like the whole online thing is I was watching some of a video earlier talking about this whole thing where they were saying that physical jobs won't be going anytime soon, he reckons. What do you guys think about that? Because we talk about like AI and all that, and a lot of people are afraid of where AI is going, and is it gonna keep on is it gonna get things gonna just the job's gonna go very quickly, and but yeah, so some people are saying, well, it doesn't matter if the jobs go because they'll be replaced with something better. Like the whole thing of like technology is it's supposed to make people's lives better. Well, supposed to. So there's a lot of negatives to technology as well. And I think that like with the social media, it's actually made people more isolated. If anything, it's supposed to be about bringing people together who wouldn't have been able to come together very easily. But it's actually made people more isolated in real life. Now, it can be good if you use it the right way, where you use it as a way to meet people online to then be able to arrange meetups in person. Like, for example, there's a thing called Meetup, which is like an app that you can get where you can find events going on in your area to meet like-minded people and do things with them, or just to meet up in a social group. So it gives, kind of like, it helps people to come together that have a like-minded, whereas it could have been very difficult. People would have had to go door to door and try to, I don't know, but doing my doctorate in AI and education sector. Oh, really? So what are your thoughts on the AI I think there will be an AI disaster to wake folk up. Do you think so? I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like on the fence with the whole AI thing. I think there's some good things to it, but also we have to be wary of things that, it's like, I just feel like as technology goes on, there's going to be a lot of like downsides to it, and like I said with social media, and it's like also another thing with social media is they've been messing up with the dating scene as well, because it's a lot of people now are struggling to meet because they're like, they have all these options online, but they actually have no options. This is the thing. There's this illusion of options that everybody has online now with social media, because those options, they have options too, So we have this kind of illusion where people think that, they've got all these options, and it kind of makes them feel like they can another thing is it makes them feel like they can just sabotage a relationship, because, oh well, I can just find somebody online, I can just leave this and not actually try to work on it. That's the problem. It's hard to say what. Sorry. AI won't replace jobs, but jobs will be taken up by AI skilled people who can enhance the jobs. Yeah, well, I mean, what about, if someone has a certain skill, but then the job gets replaced, and then they don't have those skills, but then you tell me that they have to learn those skills or something. But I just feel like we should be. Hello, Luke. How you doing? Welcome to the live. I just feel like we should be looking at trying to rely less on work and all that kind of stuff. Try to be more minimalist and try to find ways to cut down your need for materialism and all that kind of stuff. Because to me, that's what being successful is. Because this whole need for material nonsense, I feel like is automation will replace manual jobs. When do you think that's going to happen? Because I think it was Mike Israetel was talking about it, and how he was saying that the heavy labor jobs are not going anytime soon. We just kind of talk about different things on here, Luke. But if you've got any questions you want to ask around any topic, then go ahead. But I like to talk a lot about health, fitness, that kind of stuff. But at the moment, I'm just talking about AI and how is it gonna replace the manual jobs, things like all these jobs that you think, like when people need construction workers and all that kind of thing. So remember that, they're starting to 3D print houses or something, but is that going to happen anytime soon on a large scale? So I'm a big fan. It's reduced my budget cost by 30% by real-time forecasting. What's that? You mean as in like using AI to like kind of predict things? Because like AI can be quite smart, so it's just kind of like try to leverage it, but also not rely too much on it. I think it's good to learn things like in case 30-something-year-olds getting strokes. I would say that it's possibly something to do with the thing that they've been taking over the last few years, if you know what I mean. And there's even people younger than that getting like heart problems, more so than they were before that. So things like football is collapsing. And another theory I have is that because they're exerting themselves, so they're already putting pressure on their heart, and then also them taking a certain substance in their body, that's going to increase the risk even more. So I think they found that there were those groups that were more likely to get these problems, but there were people also at the beginning. I remember there was people getting clots as well, and brain blood clots and things like that, and it was really bad. Like in some cases, or they died, and unfortunately in some. And then it was, you could say it was in extreme circumstances, but it did happen. And at the beginning, the media wasn't actually, sort of admitting that there was any sort of possibility that, and then they started to change the tune on it all. How do you do the pricing? What's that? Anyway, abolish. Well, I don't really like to keep talking about this because it's like, you know what I mean. I don't feel like it's kind of like a very productive, because like what's done is done kind of thing. It's like, if people have been like gullible enough to take that stuff or whatever, then that's I know, of course some of them felt like pressured into doing it, but I'd say that it's kind of like weak mentality in my opinion. If you're willing to let the government coerce you into something, then hopefully maybe they'll actually learn from their mistake. So I do feel like sometimes people actually need to experience something bad in order to learn from it. Like, for example, people needing to be heartbroken, maybe that's their family, their friends, whatever, that they betray them, and then they learn from that and they become more a little bit cynical and hello mum, how you doing? Good to see you. Drugs bad. Drugs are so great. I love drugs. I love marijuana. So great. I love it. Actually, I don't anymore because Elon is not my lover. Yeah. What's the best cure for anxiety? I mean, I can't really say because it's individual. Depends on the cause of the anxiety, where the root of it is. I would say the best thing to do is to kind of, what's that? Pre-Bengal cats are my forte. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Sorry, Bengal cats. Oh, yeah. I don't know anything about that, but thank you, Jamie. You made my day. All right. That's good. So yeah, how have you been anyway, Vincent? Where's Runner Boy anyway? I guess he's busy. I'll join when I get paid. I keep forgetting. You mean the membership? Yeah. What have you done with the rest of that money? Have you been using it for like buying stuff, like, because you had that 500 quid or something? So yeah, I hope you're all doing well, guys. Share this out if you can. So yeah, I love Bengals. They're like dogs, so playful and love chase. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really so much of a pet kind of person, to be honest. But I've been good. How about you? Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. They are a little less than top end cats, but cheaper. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really so into them, but yeah, each to their own. Like I said, everyone's got their own preferences and all that. So yeah. Anyway, feel free to ask questions, everybody. But yeah, it's good that you guys are, connecting over Bengal cats or something. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I don't know what we should talk about next, but yeah, I just had some there was this friggin' Piers de Roos last night trying to call some shit again. There you go, there's your Trump impression. I can do it a bit of Joe Biden. Remember, Joe Biden. So yeah, so some people just try and come in the chat and they'll just kind of, I don't know, they want to just be negative and all that. Like, there was this person called Strictly Cycling, and my mum were telling me that this guy was, just a really kind of obtuse kind of person, if you will. Just a very obnoxious kind of person. It's not really somebody I would want to have here, It's like, does this person even realize? It's like sometimes people don't even realize. It's like they're not self-aware of their own faults. They think they're so great and all that, and they don't realize that they're a dick. Oh, wait, isolate. I mean, you can get protein from a whole bunch of sources. I mean, I think as long as you're getting enough protein, in total, then yeah. But I would say, if you want to get protein powder, then like that's if you're struggling to get it from your diet. But if your diet's pretty good, you might not even need to. But for some people, it might just be more of a convenience thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's just you get all these people just trying to come and say loads of crap. It's like I'm thinking, if someone wants to criticize me on anything, then tell me what I'm doing wrong, instead of trying to make snarky comments, because that isn't helpful, is it, It's like they don't even want to come and help you. It's like they just try and, come in and just, it's like, for example, when I was doing push-ups and then someone was like, oh, you should fix your form. It's like, well, what's wrong with it then? If you're going to tell me there's something wrong, then at least you should tell me what is wrong. People are nasty for no reason, I know, but it kind of says more about them, really, doesn't it? Because, some people just want to, I don't know, like, they want to act as though there's some kind of, I don't know, like, there's some great person, because it acting like they are trying to help people, but really just trying to just put people down. It's like it's like, for example, right, when people give unsolicited advice, like, for example, they'll say, oh, I think you should wear a certain colour or something like that, or I have no idea how YT gave me a channel. Well, it's just the algorithm, isn't it, Why do I have number 1 in front of my name? Have I come first in some race? It's just something that YouTube's been doing. They've just started, they started rolling out this feature where, it's in every live, I think, now, where, you go to in the live and it says number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. It's just some leaderboard thing. I think it's to do with how active you are in a chat or something like that. Just look into it for yourself. I mean, it's just a new feature that they've rolled out. Maybe it's just to try and get people to be more active and, I don't know, to be more supportive, something like that. Because a lot of people want to be seen as, like, a super supporter or something like that. I've been on it for 8 years, as even the best diet did not provide enough for my high metabolic rate and exercise. I find that, like, I actually have quite a high metabolic rate, but actually hello, One Dark Rep, how you doing? That I would, just get enough food in and just, I typed in cats and got Jamie Fitness. Oh, really? That's a bit of a random one, isn't it, cats. I don't know how cats have anything to do with this, but, like I said, I'm open-minded. It's like maybe one day I might become a cat fan or something, but not right now. I typed in Iran war. Oh, really? Yeah, it's odd how this live will just come up and when you least expect it, but this is about, I'm trying to build a community here, and I'm trying to, I don't know if you guys are even serious or whatever, but yeah, trying to be a bit more talkative and just, it's just, it can be a bit hard sometimes, but it's alright when there's a few people chatting. I can bounce off people then, but yeah, I've been just like watching some like comedy stuff, like, has anyone seen Theo Von? He's like this kind of funny comedian guy. You need to get a Bengal. I don't know, maybe, I'm just like, I think because like when I'm like living on my own, I just can't be bothered with it. Maybe if I'd say like get with somebody, then, and if they want a pet, then I'd just get one, whatever, but right now it's not my priority right now. It's like some people have a pet as part of a family. Personally, as on my own, I'm just not interested in having one. I just feel like it's a bit of a liability right now. How do you cope with autism? I just kind of like try to focus on, just what I can control, really, like focus on growth. So I get like, do the, fitness and other things, trying to do the channel and grow that. That helps me, I guess. It just helps me to have something to focus on. I've also been trying to get into meditation and try to just calm down a bit more. Yeah, I feel like when I'm in that state, I'm a bit more in that zen. I'm just trying to focus on that, really, because sometimes things are stressing me out and whatever, but a lot of it's about just letting go, and yeah, it's like a lot of times we would feel like the need for certainty, but once we get into that meditative state, that kind of all goes away. You just, in that moment, you're just with your thoughts, and that's it. Nothing else is even, like relevant outside of that. Yeah, there is advantages too, I would say, but it's about leveraging it. I think maybe that's why I've got so good with like the impressions, because I would just keep repeating things. If you keep repeating something, you'll get good at it. Like, it's what I found. If you can get quite passionate about something and get really good at it, more so than most, because most people would just kind of get fed up quite quickly. But then again, I've found that at certain times I would get fed up with things and then have a new hobby sort of thing that I would do. So it depends really. Depends how long I can stick at something, because like I was into like magic, for example. I haven't gotten back into it for a while, but I mean, I should probably get back into it soon. It's just sometimes I would get distracted and do other things, and then but I got myself to a point where I'm like pretty decent with that. I don't know if you saw my video I did on that, but I can do some like magic tricks, and maybe I got into that because I was like socially awkward, and it was a way to kind of like break out of it and try to be a bit more of a, I don't know, try to be a bit more popular, I guess, because it's a way of kind of like impressing people, because then people might start to kind of, I don't know, take you a bit more seriously and be a bit more kind of, because now you have something going for you, instead of just being this socially awkward person. It's like, so for some people they might be doing it to try and like overcompensate, but I think we should be trying to work on, the social side of things as well. But I feel like over the years I've gotten a lot better. I still have some faults in some ways, but it's just, many classical musicians are autistic because they can engross themselves in it. Yeah, that's true. Your focus can be very, very deep on something that you're very passionate about. So the whole thing of like follow your passion is very important for people, especially who are autistic, because how can you tell an autistic person not to follow their passion? They're just never going to actually get anywhere with it, because you're just going to get fed up and you're not going to be stimulated by it. So you get all these people trying to tell you, don't follow your passion because that's not what's going to make you money. Well, so be it, And I would say that that's probably advice for everybody, because why would you want to do something that makes you miserable or bored or whatever, that you have no passion for? Anyway, it's like, even if you're not autistic, I think you should be trying to do something that you're passionate about. Maybe you can make a bit of money from it. And like I said before, this whole obsession with the hustle culture and all that, I think is very toxic and needs to stop, quite frankly. It's just a joke to me. It's just like, everyone's so obsessed with making more money and getting all this material crap. But I was actually watching a video where there was apparently there's some channel that literally lives on a boat. They literally just, they're literally living on a boat, and they make a bit of money off their YouTube channel or something, I think. They're the most lovable, oh yeah. I don't know. I would have thought maybe dogs personally, but I'd probably rather have a dog, if anything. Personally, if I had to have a pet, I think I'd have a dog, because they're a bit more, I just feel like with cats, it's like, what's the point? I don't know, I feel like they can be a bit boring, but that's just me. I don't know. But everyone's got their own preferences, I guess. But right now, like I said, I'm not really bothered about having pets. Not that I have any dislike to animals or anything like that, but I just personally am not really in the right position to do that. Anyway. Hello, Phase Gamer YT, how are you doing? Cats can be trained for what? I saw one where like they could, I don't know if that was a dog, but where they trained it to like go and get a handkerchief for you or something, or a tissue if you want to call it that. If you die, a cat will eat you, but a dog will guard you. Oh really? Oh wow. But then I also saw that dogs can be a lot more dangerous as well. I remember there was video where a cat went and saved somebody from a dog. Has anyone seen that video? I'm doing fine, thank you, Faze. Have you been here before? Anyway, if anybody's new here, make sure you subscribe. I'm live every day, so... but yeah, there was this video about like where I think it was a little child or something, and they were playing in the garden, and a dog goes and tries to attack this child, and then a cat comes and, alright, nice to meet you. What's your name, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? Where the cat goes and saves the child from the dog. Oh, there was another one where, like, I think, what was it? A kangaroo tried to, like, drown a dog or something, and then someone went and saved the dog from the kangaroo. So, yeah, it's like every animal's kind of got their own sort of hierarchy, haven't they, I suppose, but you know that video, which one? Dogs are only dangerous because dickhead owners make them, so yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the thing, it's like you got these like the guard dogs and stuff, which can be seen as quite rough, like, you know, you've got your staffies, you've got your pit bulls, those ones that, personally, I don't really like the look of them. I don't know, but I wouldn't have one myself. I don't know, I'm not into that kind of thing, but yeah, but I don't think they're necessarily bad if you treat them well and all that. So yeah, you get these dickheads who try and, it's like, it kind of like, they want to feel hard because they've got this like rough dog or something. It's just pathetic. Yeah, just too many dickheads in society, isn't there, you know? Yeah, that don't deserve to have a pet. You know, they just deserve to probably be behind bars, if anything. But anyway, it's like, and it feels like people become more and more just like, I don't know. It's just, you know, you get these people just being rude and just being toxic. I don't know. I think obviously, like, the life that we're living now, it's like, it's gotten people more bitter and fed up of everything. But there's no need to take it out on other people. Everyone's just trying to get by. So there's no need to just take it out on random people. So you get these people just acting rude and all that. It's just, I don't know. There's all this tension going on, and it's all been manufactured, hasn't it? So has Trump made any threats yet? I don't know. I don't pay attention to American. I don't even pay attention to any kind of politics, really. I just hear whatever's going on from what I see online or whatever, but I don't seek out news and anything like that. 'Cause to me, it's all just a bunch of distractions. It's all theatre to me. I feel like they want you to just be distracted with it all, really. They want you all focusing on all these things that you haven't really got any control over. It's like we can't do anything about it unless every single person came together and stopped it. But I mean, I don't really go into whole Israel and Palestine. To me, they're both guilty in their own way. So I mean, it's just sad that, you know, people can't just try to, you know, resolve things in a peaceful way, and then you just end up with like division. And it's like the fact that we're in 2025 and this shit's still going on, I just think is just sad. We've obviously not evolved past any of that. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, it's just but yeah, the whole self-improvement thing, right? I mean, to me, like, the next step in it is a more of a spiritual evolution, if you will. And I'm not talking about, you know, kind of a hippie spiritual type of thing. I'm talking about in terms of letting go of the need for all this materialism, and because when I talk about, you know, optimizing your lifestyle, I'm talking about becoming free. But by being a materialist, you're actually enslaved to the system. So all these people are going about the Matrix and all that. It's all bullshit. Like, you know, but you're still very much in the Matrix. You got people like Andrew Tate. he's very much part of the Matrix. He needs all this money to fund his lavish lifestyle. It's just, what exactly do you mean by the Matrix? I guess. Maybe they just mean as in not working for the 9 to 5 or something like that. But even if you're working for yourself, it's like, if you're trying to make all this money, then you're relying on all these customers to pay you. What if they all decided, you know what, let's all just stop buying your shit? Then you're fucked. So there's you're relying on constantly getting more and more customers to buy in, and it's just toxic to me. It's soulless, and it's not something that I think people should be trying to emulate. People look at up to these influencers, and then they're like, oh, I want to do that too. But they're just they should just focus on their own path and their own purpose. So I think that's where we should be going more in the self-improvement space or whatever. It's about, like I said, spiritual development and evolving that way instead of evolving to become richer or whatever, because all you're going to do is just attract a bunch of hello, Stefano, can you speak English, please? All it's going to do is attract a bunch of gold diggers and just fake friends who just want you for your money. And it's like, do you really want that, Why do you need the McLaren? Why do you need the Lamborghini? Why do you need the Bugatti? How is that going to make your life much better? Is it because you're after that attention that you would get? Because you're lacking in some other way? And this is where you need to really do the deep thinking on. Because you might find that there's some deep-rooted issues that you need to overcome to allow you to become more, spiritually inclined, if you will, or more away from this need to use external things as a way of trying to feel validated, whether that's validated by you or by others, because as soon as you rely on something outside of you, you're in a vulnerable position. So anyway, who's still in here then? I hope everyone's well. Let's get this shared out if you can. Sharing is caring. But it's like a lot of people just aren't getting it, are they? They're just, people are just kind of, they don't realize how deeply they've been affected by this system. This whole kind of need for approval, all that stuff, because they've convinced everybody that that's what you need to have in order to be a successful person, that you need to have tons of friends, or you need to, have whatever. It's just, we need to just focus on what we want, because fuck what other people, would respond to, because, the right people will come into your life when they're meant to. My grandpa said, never let money be your friend or enemy. Yeah, I think be kind of more, indifferent towards it. It's like it can be a tool, but we shouldn't be attached to it. We should just, when we get attached to anything, it to like an unhealthy degree, then it can really sort of be quite, just a trap, I would say. We're become trapped by the need for materialism, but this whole thing was that we need to, move on from that, but to realize that this isn't meant for us. We're not meant to slave away for the money. Yes, indifferent, it's just a tool. Yeah, it's just a tool. It's nothing really special about it. But we value all these things, it's like all these men valuing a friggin', skanky woman that's covered in makeup, instead of valuing a woman with values. And for example, it's like we're valuing the wrong things. we've been taught to value all these things. We've been taught that money is the be all and end all, that we need to have the latest gadget because we see it in the adverts, or maybe you'll become more, approved of or whatever. Maybe, handy for medical reasons when needed. Yeah, that's true. It's good to have like a sort of emergency fund, I would say, just to be on the safe side. But beyond that, it's just living a more minimal lifestyle might be better, and just try to, appreciate the simple joys of life rather than having to go through all these lengths to get the lavish lifestyle. I think is not necessarily worth it. Some people are born into wealth, and that's great, I guess, for them, but then again, they've never had to work hard to even appreciate all of that. So a lot of them end up losing it all, or just kind of, or they just don't appreciate what they've got. And it's like you get these Nepo babies, and it's just not fair, is it? You'll have these families, and sometimes they might even bail them out if they fuck up. But yet the average person, it's like they don't have that privilege. They don't. It's like, it's a lot harder for a lot of people to make it in this life. But the world isn't fair. It's like how you've got channels that would dox other people and nothing would happen to them, but yet if you're a small channel and you did that, you probably get shut down immediately. It's just not right. It's like I got banned off TikTok. I kept getting restrictions and stuff. I didn't really do anything that bad, and then other people who've done some really messed up things on there keep getting the platform because they're big and they're bringing in money. Because all they care about is money. It's like, I feel like even like things like the police and other, things like that, they're easily paid off. It's like, if you just give them some money, they'd probably, you could probably bribe them. It's like, you get these lawyers, if you can, pay enough money to then get them to be on your side and whatever, and it's like, they can just put in a good case for you, and then they can just stop you from getting into trouble, even though you should have done, because you've done something really bad. That's the whole thing of like, well, they say power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. When you've got that much money, it gives you power. They have the leverage to be able to pay people off. They do something bad, then they can just be like, here you go, you can just shut up now, kind of thing, and don't say anything about it. And it's it's such a messed up world that we live in. Yeah, I know it's the whole double standards thing, but it happens, in society where people get away with things if they can, give them money or whatever. But we need to start standing up to these things. We also need to start standing up against the fact that we've got this rising cost of living, even though, you're buying the same products, and oftentimes they're even smaller, or you have TT. Well, I'm actually trying to get back on it by using another person's account. So I was actually live on there the other day, but it's just I cannot make another account on there at the moment, because anytime I try to, they've basically blocked me from doing that. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to be getting a new account anytime soon on there. I don't know exactly, but they kept on restricting my lives and stuff. But I think at the end it was something to do with, because I was telling people to support me directly instead of using TikTok gifts. I did actually try using a VPN, and you know what? That didn't work either. I think it's meant to do with the phone number. So I remember someone was saying to me, you'll not be able to make a new account with that phone number. So even with a VPN, if it's attached to that phone number, that they can tell. So it's it's not the same as some other platforms where you can just use a VPN. I've heard also in some cases, if you use a VPN, they can tell that you're using a VPN. So, yeah, it's just, it isn't a solution for everything. But some people use VPNs to help with security. But I've actually heard that VPN isn't like a be-all end-all solution for security even. A new SIM card, I mean, I just haven't got around to it, but I don't even know if that would work. It's just, like I said, I'm using somebody else's account at the moment. I've been, going live with him, but I've actually got a woman that, the thing is, I was actually planning on having a live stream at some point with this woman who's like a men's rights advocate, and she had about 186,000 followers at the time, and I've just gone and looked on her channel the other day, and she's now up to 300,000 followers. So it's a really big channel. She gets a whole bunch of views, like hundreds of thousands, if not millions on some of them. And she used to actually come to my lives sometimes. So what I've done is I tried sending her a message on his account, and apparently she's followed the guy. She hasn't got back to the message, but she's followed him. So at least that's, going in the right direction. But I'm hoping that at some point we can try and get her to come up on the live, because that would help me get out there, and also it'd be good to just do like an interview. I think it would be great to have something like that. Have a kind of like an interview style of, like a sort of like kind of like a podcast type of thing, where we could sort of just get on and talk about some of these issues and things, like what, because this whole, we're in this kind of like, you could even say we're at a point where it's kind of gynocentric. It's like the whole talk about women's rights and all that. You keep hearing it everywhere, but yet you don't hear a lot about men's rights or men's issues and things like that, and it's like there needs to be that balance of like because there's still a lot of issues that men face today. A lot of men are struggling with loneliness. They're struggling with feelings of not being appreciated. There's a whole bunch of things. A lot of men get screwed over. But yeah, it's like there's obviously women's issues and all that, and I feel like there's a lot of a lot of light being shed on that and whatever. And it's just but there also needs to be the opposite as well. But yeah. And I think actually by helping men out, it ends up helping women out, because if we turn men into more, better, and we become more, sort of help them to become more clued up and more, then it actually ends up, it stops them from going and simping after these women and messing up all these women's heads. Because I feel like, it might seem good for women to have all this validation and all that, but it ends up actually just messing them up, and it's not good for them. It's not good for women to be exposed to all this constant validation. If men would only just stop doing it, then we would finally resolve this. But it's like men just don't realise it, and they just keep doing it anyway, even though it's getting them nowhere. It's like they're just flogging a dead horse when they're doing this shit. So, that's kind of my angle on it all about, men need to stop simping. Men need to stop chasing after women that are just, most of them are just caked in makeup and just do all this fake shit. Do the push-up bra. They do these, skin-tight pants. They're trying to, like, maximize everything and to try and look better than what they actually do. It's so fake. Whereas men can't really do that. Men can't just put makeup on, because then that's just going to make them look feminine. Now, there's things that obviously men can grow a beard or whatever, but in some cases that might not help. But so I hope everyone's well. It's like, beards are like just like I've got a bit of like beard at the moment, but you can see it's just I usually just kind of cut it down to like a stubble sort of thing, and then just let it grow a bit, and then cut it down. But don't really like to let it grow too long because it starts getting a bit scruffy and just, yeah, I mean the texture of it is a bit. Anyway, hope you're all well tonight. Share this out if you can. That would be really appreciated. Hang on a second. I need to just. I think I need to refresh this live. Wait a sec. Hang on. Most men are just cooks now, I think. Yeah, that's the problem with these modern men, that they've just, I don't know what's happened to them. I think it's just, men have become so, like, deprived, I guess, because, I don't know, I think that's the problem, is we're so deprived of connection now that, you know, it's sad really, but yeah, we're like so deprived of that connection that they'll just do anything to try and get it. But what they don't realise is that they're actually making things worse. That by trying to chase and be all needy and all that, you're actually making things worse for yourself, and you're also messing these women up even more by boosting their egos, and it ends up actually messing them up because they then think that they can get any man that they want and they can just mess around, and then later on they end up crying because they can't get a man. So by men stopping simping, it does both men and women a favour, if you look at it that way. So yeah, just need to stop being pathetic. You know, men need to stop being pathetic, because then women will stop being pathetic as well. You know, it seems like a lot of men and women have become pathetic nowadays. But part of it is that men need to stop simping. Yeah, women obviously need to stop, you know, sort of encouraging that. But they won't, because they get off on that drug when they're young. But what they don't realise is that when they get older, that's going to mess them up. It's going to make it to where that they don't... Because if they've had all these experiences with all these bad boys, and then they've had all these, you know, simps after them, they've turned them down, and then what's going to happen is that these guys that were simping for them, they're not going to want them anymore, because they start to see the game, and they're like, I don't want to play it. You rejected me when I was younger, so I'm just going to say no, because I have self-respect now. So they fuck themselves up. Okay, Feline, have a good one. So it's just, you know, this is what people don't realise, is that, yeah, these actions are just perpetuating the problem. And they'd be like, oh, women want to be chased. No. Yeah, they might, in that moment, they might feel like some kind of thrill from that validation. But they're not attracted to the guy because a lot of times they don't want to just have a guy who's just too easy. You know, who's too available. You know, they want a guy who's, you know, a bit more kind of aloof, if you will, who's not so needy, unless they have a lot of problems themselves. But women who respect themselves and have shit going on in their life, they don't want to be just like, I don't know, they don't like the whole thing of being chased constantly. They want a guy who, you know, also has his shit together, who also doesn't want to be like chasing, because that's low value shit. That if you're chasing after a woman, that suggests that that puts you in that kind of more vulnerable position where you're like, I'm trying to get your attention. Like, because the guy who knows his abilities doesn't need to do that it would naturally come to him, and he's not bothered if it doesn't. That's what it is. If he's not bothered and he's just kind of going on with his life, he knows that someone's going to value him, so he doesn't need to chase, versus a guy who's just chase after this one woman, has this one itis, for this one woman because he's so desperate, you know? It's probably not a good idea to be just talking to one woman until you've actually really got to know her, because you don't know what she's going to end up being like. And the same thing if you're a woman. Don't just talk to one guy until you really get to know him. You know, try to just kind of vet people first. Find who you click with. Now, you shouldn't talk to too many, I would say, because that can kind of make you feel like you're spoiled for choice. But, you know, 2 or 3, whatever. But until you've, like, you know, until you really get to know someone, I think it's probably a good idea. Anyway, because if you're talking to too many, it's hard to get to know anybody then. But yeah, so balance, balance and all, yeah. But the thing is just, yeah, also women shouldn't be trying to simp either. It's like, there is some what will simp after bad boys, men that do not care about them, but then they'll complain about it. Say, oh, this guy just used me for sex. Well, you let yourself be used for sex. That's the thing. You gave up your body right away. Serves you fucking right. You know? Maybe it's a lesson that you need to learn, but some of them are too kind of stuck up and egotistical or whatever to think that maybe they're the problem. They try and blame it on men, but then they're actually the problem. And then you've got also these loser men who they're kind of stuck up in as well in a way where they think they're entitled to the best woman, but then what have they got to offer, you know? They're just awkward and needy. So on both sides, they need to do better. So anyway, rant over, I think. But yeah, what do you guys think? I think this whole kind of situation is just, you know, but yeah, Trinan, yeah, if you take care, if you're still there, but yeah. I don't think you're still there, but yeah. Anyway. I don't know, it's just gotten kind of insane, really, isn't it? This whole market, you know? Like, and it's no one trusts each other anymore, do they? Everyone's just become so, like, untrusting of each other. And I understand why, because people do messed up things, you know? Cheating and dirty shit, you know? So why would anyone trust each other nowadays? You know, social media has really made it hard as well, because, like I said, there's this illusion of options that people have that they could just start talking to somebody else because they don't feel, you know, like the relationship is going the right way in that moment, but maybe tomorrow things will be okay. Like, they don't give anything a chance, and then too much like a meat market out there. It's like a job market, I'd say. It's very similar to the job market nowadays. The way that the job market is just so ruthless and just so, like, it's just such a toxic, isn't it? Like, I would say, you know, it's like, say, someone applies for a job, and then they could apply for 100, 200 jobs. Let's say they get one response, if they're lucky, right? They get one response, and then they get an interview. What is the chances that they even get through the interview and get the job? And then even if they do get the job, they might hate it and either have to quit and then there's even a chance they might get laid off or whatever. Just like how with dating, you could be trying to talk to 100 people, maybe you get a date or two. The dates most likely are not going to work out to anything, or not to anything long term anyway, and then you just end up back to where you started. And now you just feel lost, you feel like you're a loser because because it's like, after all those attempts and then nothing came of it. Just when you thought things might be going in the right direction, you know, smack back to reality, you know? So this is the thing nowadays where people are just checking out of society, especially a lot of the young men out there. They become kind of just fed up of it all. And can you blame them? Like, they just don't want anything to do with this kind of rotten society that we have now that's just the dog eat dog, and like no one's looking out for each other. They're only looking out for their own interests, and you could say that's because maybe because they've just become so isolated. There's no community anymore. It's like no community cohesion anymore, no one coming together like they used to. Yeah, there's some people that might come together on some occasions, but it doesn't feel like what it was like back in the day, like people neighbours used to be a lot more friendly with each other. I mean, my grandma was actually very, very friendly with her neighbours and stuff. She would talk to them in the, between the fence, they would, and that's good, there's that kind of communication, there was that communication going on. But a lot of these younger people now, they have no connection to their neighbours or anything. They're just in their own bubble. And you don't think that's kind of sad that that's happening? There should be a bit more kind of community oriented, you could say. So what does everybody think anyway? Let me know. Anyway, what is going on with this chat tonight? Seems a bit dead in here, so I don't know whether I should restart or something. It just, I don't know, there's fuck all people in here. I don't like to have to keep restarting though, because I don't know, because there's no guarantees it's even gonna do better, but yeah, I don't know, but it is what it is, isn't it, So yeah, just keep the chat flowing, guys. What have you all been up to today, everyone? Anything interesting? I don't know. We'll see how this goes, I guess. Just gotta try and stay positive. I know everyone in my village. Well, that's good. So yeah, obviously not gonna say where you're from, because that would kind of give it away. But it's good when you've got small villages like that where everybody knows each other. I think it's as things have become more like urban, and it's become like less social, you could say. Yeah. The thing keeps overheating. I think it's with this thing I'm using, this a Prism Live Studio thing. I guess people have just been enjoying the weather or something. It's really been a nice day today with the weather. Did get some like the hay fever symptoms today, but it hasn't been too bad. I just had some like itchy eyes and stuff. But yeah, I can manage it, I guess. But yeah, I bumped into a guy earlier at the calisthenics park thing that I saw the other day. So it's like I keep seeing him now. It's like, so it's good that when you start to see people that you recognize and all that, and yeah, so you have to put yourself out there in different environments, and you can just happen to meet people like that. Anyway, I'm just gonna have a drink. Hit the like button, guys. So yeah, what's everybody's plans for the week ahead? Sorry, for the weekend. Anyone doing anything interesting this weekend? Yeah. Yeah. When you said I know everyone in my village, it reminded me of a thing of. Has anyone ever seen Little? I think it was Little Britain. There was this kind of thing, only gay in the village. Yeah, it was a Little Britain thing, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. Apparently they stopped showing it, or they had to stop showing it or something because of I don't know. They just stopped because of all the backlash or something. Because people get so offended these days. So many snowflakes, aren't there? People can't take a joke all are offensive to certain minorities. It's like, get over yourself, you know? Stop being such a entitled little snowflake, because, you know, we're just trying to have fun here. It's like, why stop being boring, you know? These people are friggin' boring, where it's like you can't make jokes about it. I mean, it's like, if you can't joke about these things, then it's like, what can you joke about? But then it's like, but you get all these like woke comedians that will try and make jokes about men, and that's okay. And it's like, people can make jokes about what they want, but the thing is, it's this double standards. Going back to the whole double standards thing, and I can't be doing with the whole double standards bullshit, where it's like, it's okay to make jokes at certain people's expense, but then it's not okay to make jokes at other people's expense. I think you should channel Hop to spread awareness through your channel. The God ones will put your link in the chat. I don't know who to do. I do sometimes go to a few channels and stuff, but yeah, it's there's a few like Daisy May and all that, but the thing is, I don't know if these people will really stick around and find what I do interesting. But the thing is, I try to be a bit engaging and stuff, but it's hard sometimes. You'll have to send me some links or something, but as long as the people are actually going to support the channel and not just go and subscribe and then never watch anything, because then there's no point of that. Because that can hurt your channel in the long run, actually. But yeah, I mean, some of my shorts have been doing pretty well. I've had last one 6 new subscribers, so yeah, and it's still going up, I think. So yeah. So where are you from again, Tom? Whereabouts? Yeah. So you say you was on the spectrum, right? On the autism spectrum. Hello, Charlie. Yeah, do remember you. How have you been? Good to see you again. How do you find the new setup? Do you like the new setup, guys? Let me know. Or maybe I'll keep to this one for now, if you like the setup. I've been abroad. Oh yeah, where did you go? Anywhere nice? Yeah, I'd love to go abroad. I love going abroad, but I love going. I just love to go to Florida. They got some great golf courses. I love to play golf. Golf is the best sport in the entire world. Oh, Egypt. Oh, really? Why? Why is it horrible? Didn't you get to see the pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx and all that? Because I'd love to go and see that. Is it just like the weather or something? I bet it was red hot or something. There is a nice one who does morning chats called The Nutter, who just talks in general. I've heard of that channel, but I haven't really gone to it. I mean, there was someone called Anne's Place, which I do go to sometimes, and she does a lot of like kind of trips and stuff, if I remember, because I actually saw her from what was it, Daisy May. But yeah, there was so many mosquitoes, my goodness. I was covered in bites, head to toe. Oh no, at least you didn't get anything bad, did you, from it? I think there was even some in like, quite a lot in like near Paris when I stayed over there. I live in the southeast Mediterranean. Oh right, I thought you was in the UK or something, but yeah, southeast Mediterranean. Did they get a lot of like mosquitoes there or something as well? But I bet it's quite hot down there, isn't it, in those kind of countries? But yeah, I couldn't be doing with, you know, getting loads of mosquito bites. That's something that might put me off some of these hotter countries. I think like, for me personally, I would quite like somewhere like Bermuda or somewhere like that, where it's kind of a constant temperature. Yeah, and then Queen Nessie is positive. Alright, Queen Nessie, I don't know if I know that one, but yeah, I don't want to be going to a bunch of like drama channels. I remember there was these drama channels that were just constantly slagging other people off, and I just think it was all just deliberate, just to try and cause chaos and stuff. And yeah, I could not wait to come back home. I was itching like hell. It was a nightmare. I wanted to cry. Oh yeah, it's like when I was in a bunch of nettles. I was doing this volunteer shit, and I don't really want to be doing it when that's going on, where they go and do this thing called balsam bashing, and what happens, right, you go through all this kind of jungly shit, and then you're almost guaranteed to just get a bunch of like stings, and it's like all over your body just ends up. I remember when I was doing it, it was like stinging all over. It's just horrible, really. But yeah, I was like, fuck that shit. Anyway, very hot. Yes, mosses are around, but they don't bite me. Oh, really? Why don't they bite you? You repel them, do you? Yeah, you're like repulsive to mosquitoes. Yeah. Because it's like, isn't it like malaria or something that you can get from that? Because I thought that there's quite a high risk of getting something, or is it dengue fever or whichever one that you could get from mosquito bites? But I don't know if it's like a certain type or something. I don't know, but I've not really looked too much into things like mosquito bites and how dangerous it is, and why is it that certain people get it. Apparently they bite type O blood group. Oh fuck, that would be yeah, that would not be good, because I think I'm a type O if I remember. But yeah, so your blood is probably sour, huh? Oh well, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that's the thing, because I would have liked the idea of move somewhere like Southeast Asia, but it's going to be full of these things. It's going to be full of creepy insects. I can't be doing with that, you know. But yeah, but it would be too expensive to move to Bermuda, though, wouldn't it? You know, it's freaking expensive there. Maybe if I moved to somewhere like, I don't know what it would be like in somewhere like, what is it, that they call them, the Canary Islands, but it can get kind of hot there, but it's like constant and it's not too hot or something. I don't know. Depends on the humidity, I guess, but I went quad biking, though that was fun. Oh, that's good. Yeah, quad biking, yeah, maybe I'd try that out at some point, but never got around to it. You're cutting in and out, although I don't know what's up with that. I don't know. Is it cutting in and out for anybody else, or is it just on my mum's end or something? I mean, no one else has said anything about that, but yeah, just let me know, because I might have to try and take off the extra shit from the live. I don't know. But just let me know, guys. Tom says, eat more might as they hate yeast and use citronella oil. Also, basil repels them. The mosses that cause malaria are in India and Africa, not the Med. Alright then. So it's not like that dangerous then. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard they use like certain medications over in these countries to counter it. So yeah. Anyway, there's a thing over there. They struggle to even like afford the medications and stuff, and that's probably the reason why a lot of them die young. Some of it, well, one of the reasons anyway. Anyway, yeah. So it's not cutting in and out for anybody else, is it? I hope. Hopefully not, but anyway, keep the chat flowing, everybody. But yeah, I'd just rather, try and keep myself safe, really. It's fine now, was cutting out before that, alright, maybe it's just had a bit of a glitch or something, but yeah, guys, just let me know if there's any issues, so then I can try to sort it out, because I want to make sure the live is running smoothly. I don't want it to be messing up, because that's not good, is it? Anyway, could we get this shirt out, guys? Where have you been, Jamie Abroad? Only to France and Spain. But yeah, that's only as far as I've been. But yeah, that's it, really. I would like to travel more, but yeah. Anyway. Not really focused on that at the moment. But I'm thinking to myself, why do I even need to? Start to kind of think about, like, there's so much in this country I haven't even seen. And yeah, there's the whole different culture thing, and that would be, kind of a reason to go, but like, to learn about different cultures and stuff. But other than that, I haven't really got much reason to actually go abroad. I don't know, it's just, yeah. Um, so welcome in everybody. I hope you've all had a good day today. Share this out if you can. I want to go to France one day. Yeah, I went up the Eiffel Tower, went up to the second floor. I don't think there's any need to go up to the top floor because you can already see everything at the second floor. So I don't really see the point in paying a whole bunch of extra money just to not hardly see any more. Because you can already see all the city up at that point. So I don't know what the point is of going even further up, like, I don't know. What's weather like in France similar to UK? It's a bit warmer than the UK. When I was in Paris, it's been pretty warm, even like hot at times. With the odd day that's maybe a bit more damp and kind of, yeah, but that's in the summertime. But the winter time, I've heard it can get kind of cold. But I'd say on average, it's a bit warmer than the UK. Because it's like further south, you know, as you go further south, then generally it's going to be warmer. Like say, especially in the south of France, then it starts to become more like Mediterranean weather, like Spain and Italy and all that. It starts to get more to that kind of weather, you know, where you get like your, you know, like your sort of vineyards and all that kind of stuff, and it's like more optimal weather for like growing certain things like grapes and stuff like that. But yeah, you'll get things like olives and stuff like that, don't you? And this is probably reason why a lot of them would live so long, because a lot of their diet is fresh food that they grow themselves. Like they grow a lot of their own fresh produce, like the olives and things like tomatoes and other things. It's like, so yeah, some of it you can grow here, but like it's more optimal conditions over there for a lot of these things. But yeah, I find like, I was talking the other day that the British cuisine, I just feel like is overrated. I don't know. It just, the food doesn't even look good, a lot of it, does it? It just looks like something that you would feed a dog, some of it almost. I don't know, it looks like that bad, some of it. It just looks rank, and even sometimes the smell just is like, you know, when you open these like tins of beans or something, it just smells like something you would feed a dog or something. A lot of the tinned food that a lot of these British people have, like, you know. Yeah. And then you got like fish and chips, and it's just all in this like batter, and it looks just so disgusting to me nowadays. It just looks so kind of cheap and nasty and just like, I don't know. Whereas you take like the Mediterranean cuisine or any other cuisine, I just find the food looks a lot more sophisticated, and I don't know. But that's just my opinion. Of course, you know, you could say there's some good foods and stuff, but yeah, but some of that would be like the more posh end sort of stuff, like. But generally, I would say like the average food in the UK is not that great, I would say. I don't know what you guys think, but that would probably cause a lot of debate. Anyway, let's just yeah, keep chatting, guys. Yeah. I don't know, there's only like 2 people here now apparently, so don't know what's going on, but Madeira Island is idyllic, even climate all year round, unique birds and flowers. Oh yeah, Madeira's near, that's near, what is it, Madeira, isn't that near the Canary Islands, if I remember? So I was thinking those kind of like subtropical environments are probably ideal, because they're not too hot, but they're like
they're warm all year round. Like I said, Bermuda as well, but the thing with Bermuda is that it's, with Bermuda, it's so expensive there, and also it's a very small island, it's a very small place, and I couldn't be doing with that. I'd like to have more to explore, but that's just me. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see like different wildlife and stuff that we don't get here. Yeah, I'd love to go to America and see the bluebirds. I want to see bluebirds. I don't know, they look quite nice actually, but we don't get them here. So we're missing a lot of stuff just by staying in one country, I suppose. Suppose that's another reason to travel, so then you get to see more diverse wildlife. And yeah, you could, there can be like zoos where you can see some things, but it's not going to have everything. It's technically part of Portugal, isn't it? Yeah, Madeira. It's if I remember, it was kind of like not too far from the Canary Islands. But yeah, they have pretty like constant weather as well. But they're like volcanic islands. And I've heard with these volcanic islands, the air quality is not great or something. They have all this ash there, and it's just, I don't know if it's really a good place to be though. But yeah. I was thinking I would love to be like, go live in Barbados or something, I don't know. But then, I don't know if it's a bit too much there, and I don't know how the humidity's like. But yeah, it does look nice though, but it's just, probably be quite expensive to live there. And the amount of requirements you would need as well. But yeah, it'd be cool to go on a holiday, I guess. It'd be good to travel to some of these places. Just hop from country to country, but yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I just want to try and like, just focus on like success right now, and then I can just enjoy myself. I want to make sure that my mental bandwidth is hooked up with progress right now. I don't want to be distracted with dreaming about, traveling and things like that, because I feel like that's going to distract me. So Madeira is mainly in the 20s, has both mountains and coastal areas. Yeah, as long as it doesn't, get too hot, then it's alright. But what's the humidity like there? Is it quite dry heat, or is it like, because you've got somewhere like Florida, for example, that's average temperatures are like high 20s or whatever, in the high, the average highs of like high 20s or whatever, but with really high humidity, and that can really sort of make the air feel kind of dense and close, muggy and all that. Very low crime rate in Madeira, a huge factor. Oh really? So yeah, that's the thing. It's that would be good to have low crime rates, so then you're not worried about criminals and stuff. And crime in this country has gone up apparently, and it's a lot of police are just not really doing anything about it. I mean, they're just kind of, you got all these people just, stealing shit, and especially like places like London where things are rife. Yeah, I know, that's it. It's like people say, oh, you should, do it all when you're younger. That's great, but yeah. The thing is, I do at some point want to settle down and have a family and all that. And some people say you should do the traveling before you settle down and all that, and have a family. But because obviously once you have a family, then it can be a bit hard to do all that. So I'm gonna think like, what do I want to do going forward? Do I just not prioritize having a family and then just later on be like, oh shit, maybe I should have had one? But I suppose for a man, you have a bit more leeway, and you could get to like 50 and decide you still want to have a family or something, so it's not the end of the world. Whereas if you're a woman, then it's different. You know, if you're a woman, then let's say you're a woman who's like, you know, you're getting to like towards about 30, and then you're like, should I just kind of try and have a family now, or should I, you know, just keep traveling and all that? And then they get to 40, 50, and they're like, oh shit, what have I done? Maybe I should have had a family. But the problem is, if you then leave the traveling till you're old, then are you even going to enjoy it? Because let's say you go traveling and then you're like at a point where it's like you can't do all the hikes and stuff that you were able to do because you're struggling. But it depends on how you keep up with your health, because there's guys who are like 70, 80 years old, and women and all that, who can still run, they can still, you know, hike and all that stuff. So it doesn't necessarily matter when you travel if you keep up with your health. There's some people in their like 70s and 80s who are fitter than the average 20-year-old, you know? Like, you've got them doing CrossFit and all sorts, so it's like, so age shouldn't be like I know I made a video a while ago where I was kind of moaning about the whole thing of people getting older and then life gets harder and gets worse, but a lot of that has to do with those low, mild humidity, unlike Cyprus, which is sky high in summer. Yeah, my mum actually lived in Cyprus for a few years, and she actually married this guy, and then, well, they ended up getting divorced, but like she lived there, and yeah, she said it was just super hot. Yeah. There's a lot of these islands, like, some of them are going to be more humid than others, I guess. So why is it that Cyprus is more humid? Is it just, I don't know. Why is Cyprus more humid than Madeira? So what is it like in Tenerife then? And like, you know, places like that, Lanzarote, Fuerteventura, what's the other one? Gran Canaria. Those, you know, like Canary Islands, is that kind of similar? But yeah, ideally it doesn't want to be like too hot, I guess. And not too humid, but not cold. Yeah, anyway. I'm 66 and very fit still. Oh, you're 66, I didn't realise it. I thought you were some young guy from it, but this is what I mean. You could be like old, and then if you've been working out your whole life and you've been keeping up with it, then yeah, it's like, I'm 70 years old and I'm taking TRT and I am fitter than I have ever been. I now have a six-pack. I think that health is such an important thing. The American population is so unhealthy. All the additives in people's food. People become lazy. They're getting Uber Eats deliveries. 40 plus in July and August. Oh, really? Where is that at? You on about Cyprus or where? Apparently, isn't it like Cyprus is like half Greece and half Turkey or something, if I remember? So how do you think of my RFK Jr. impression? They have this thing with his wife. I had a breakdown when I was in my late 40s. Ever since then, my voice is fucked up. Tenerife also very even climate and much cheaper than Madeira. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, my grandma went on holiday to Tenerife when she was when she was younger. But then she started to struggle with the heat as she started to put on weight. She would sweat a lot, but she kind of like denied that it had much to do with that. She thought there was something else going on or something. She was always like sweating all the time, even when it was quite mild. So it's, yeah, not good, but yeah, she'd like to have the fan on a lot, and she would try to open the windows a lot because she would like struggle in the heat. Yeah, it's anyway. But I've heard that like some of the cheapest countries around kind of like Eastern Europe, Western and Asia are countries like Albania and Georgia. Apparently there are some like really cheap countries. And I've heard you can live there for like a few £100 a month if you've got like a online income. You know, you're getting this sort of like, you're benefiting from like the worldwide economy in a cheap country. So it makes sense to move to a country where, you know, if you can make enough, then maybe then it's a good idea to move to one of these countries. Let's say you, for example, you do an online coaching business and all your customers are from like Western countries and you're getting paid all this money, then if you're making a lot of money, then it might make sense to move to one of these cheaper countries, or maybe somewhere else. I mean, just an example, but a lot of people move to Romania or whatever, but you know, there's obviously pros and cons to every country, but yeah. It's half Greek Orthodox and half Turkish Muslim. Alright. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's almost like you have the island that's like, you've got Northern Ireland, which comes under as the UK, and then you've got Republic of Ireland, which comes under as, well, Ireland. So yeah, it's obesity is the devil's conquest. Yeah, it's not good, is it? I feel like it's not really dealt with enough. It's like all these governments, they don't seem to really care, probably because Big Pharma benefits so much from it, so the government has no incentives to try and help it out by trying to address anything. But the government never actually seems to do anything that good that's in the best interest of the public, unless they can get something out of it themselves. So that's what I've come to realise, really, that, you know, we shouldn't be relying on these people to try and make changes to things, because, you know, you could say, well, they should be trying to regulate things more, you know, to try and get rid of all the junk food, but, you know, we should all come together and try to make something happen. We can't be looking at government to do something, I don't think. You can get nomad visas in most countries now, but isn't there some ridiculous requirement for that, though? Like that you have to earn like 3 times or 4 times the minimum wage of that country. And are they quite easy to obtain, though? I mean, like, but I've heard about digital nomad visas, but yeah. Let's have a look at one for Georgia. See what it's like for Georgia. Nomad visa. Sorry, digital nomad visa requirements. Because there's all this kind of like red tape with everything. So it says here, you'll typically need to show a monthly income of $2,000 or have $24,000 in savings. Additionally, you'll require proof of remote work, e.g. a work contract or certificate of incorporation and comprehensive health insurance coverage. Like, what the fuck? So, like,
Yeah, so I mean, 24,000 in savings. Maybe that's easier to get than $2,000, but it's saying you can alternatively get the 24. So you don't actually have to have $2,000 a month in income, but you have to have at least $24,000 in savings. So you could just save up a bunch and then, but then it says you have to like prove you're a business owner or something. So it's like if I have, say, like for example, if I'm doing a YouTube channel and I'm like, well, what would I do to prove that? I guess I'd have to have some kind of. It just seems a bit like a whole bunch of rigmarole to try and go through. Yeah, this is just an example of like. Yeah. Anyway, hope you're all doing well tonight. But I've heard about stuff, people literally buying themselves a frigging boat and just traveling the seas on a boat, Depends on the country, really varies vastly. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think some of the Southeast Asian countries are more lax on that sort of stuff, but I might not necessarily want to live there where there's just a bunch of creepy crawlies and all that are just. I can't be doing with that. Having all sorts of stuff, snakes or scorpions or anything like that. That's the thing with some of these countries. So, yeah. Some people might then realise that they might not even want to be in those kind of countries because they're like, everywhere's got its problems, unfortunately. So, yeah. We're kind of lucky in some ways here, so. But people need to look at maybe relying less on money altogether. That might mean for some people living out of a van or something, or living in the woods. In some cases that's maybe a viable option for some people. Depends on what you're willing to do. I was watching this channel called Nomad Sam, and he does a channel about living nomadically, and just go and live in a tent. Pretty much, and just traveling. Sometimes he might, sleep in like an abandoned building or something, or he might just sleep on a sand dune or something. It's like, for some people that's okay, It depends on, obviously it depends on what you're willing to kind of sacrifice, really, for the freedom. But, yeah, you gotta find the balance that works for you, really. But if freedom is what you want, then it's like, obviously you got to do your own research and all that. But yeah, just don't let anyone stop you. But just you've got to obviously know what you're doing. You could get yourself in trouble if you haven't set things up properly. Anyway. Alright, someone's just put a message on my video, so bear with me a second. What's this? All countries require health insurance until you qualify for a permanent residence, visa or citizenship, and you must be contributing to their tax system to get national health care. Yeah, some countries have like quite low tax, but obviously they won't want to just be having you friggin' leech off their health systems. I feel like though you should be able to just kind of opt out of national insurance to get healthcare. If you feel like, okay, well, I'll try and be responsible with my health, and maybe I'll just save up a little bit of money just in case. Because I feel like people are just getting ripped off with I think America, they really rip people off because you got this like health insurance, but then what if you don't use it, It's like the whole life insurance thing, right? They only pay out when you use it. Otherwise, it's just dead money, you know? Like, the whole system's a friggin' scam. It's like the whole friggin' car insurance thing. I mean, it's just, you're having to pay car insurance even if you're a good driver, you don't do anything wrong. You're paying to some fucking company that, you know, you're not getting anything out of that. You just, I mean, yeah, you could say, well, it protects you. Say if someone, you know, like, rams into your car or something, but I'm like, well, you know, I'd rather run the risk of that, personally. You know, I just think people should just be responsible and just, yeah. Because imagine like how much money you would have just spent on friggin' insurance every year. Sometimes people are spending in some places, let's say £1,000 a year on insurance. So they're probably spending more than they have on the friggin' car itself. And yeah, they just get, you know, all these companies getting this friggin' money off them. You know, oh, we'll give you like less insurance if you have no claims or something. It's like, well, but you're still paying insurance, even though you've been a good little boy, you haven't claimed on the insurance, and you know, but they still charge you at least, but yeah. Even nothing happens, you never get any like money back or anything. You just take all your money off you and just, yeah. We're in this friggin' like system of just corruption and just yeah. I remember I was like debating someone about this a while ago, about the whole car insurance thing, and say, well, what if someone with some like expensive car and it costs so much to like repair it or something? I'm like, well, that's their fucking problem. If you go out and fucking buy an expensive car, that's your fucking problem, you know? Like, I don't think people should have just ridiculously expensive cars anyway, you know? Like, if you go buy a car and it costs you like fucking 10 grand to fucking fix it, that's your fucking problem. You know, you took that chance. If you can't pay for that shit, don't fucking buy it, you know? If you can't pay to fucking fix your car, you shouldn't have it. Sorry, but yeah, that's just the way it is, you know? You could have life insurance that you cash in after a set amount of years, which dissolves it though, right? So how does that work? So what you mean is in like, do you mean it'll just kind of like, it's like a sort of, almost like what they call it, like a fund, like a sort of, not a trust fund, but like well, sort of like a trust fund. But yeah, like they put their money into some kind of like, it's like people have like an emergency fund or something, but I'm like, why are you letting some other company do that for you? It's like, because they're making money off people, because, you know, they're not actually getting the payout unless they actually need it in most cases. So to me, it's just as bad as like gambling your money and then you just end up in a net negative. Like, if you're irresponsible with your money, then you're just well, it friggin' serves you right, I guess. But I guess people just need to be more responsible. And you could say, oh, what if someone does something damage and then they can't afford to pay it? Well, let them go into fucking debt then, you know. If they can't afford to pay it, that's their problem. Then they go into debt, you know. Have them fucking pay it, you know. Have them, you know, go in fucking debt for like 10 years or some shit, you know. Serves them fucking right, you know. If they're gonna like cause somebody some loss, that's their fucking problem. You know, if they can't afford to pay it. But I think that if you've got like some really expensive stuff that you end up destroying because of somebody else, then also I think that's your problem if you're gonna take that kind of risk on. Everything there's a risk in life, you know, when you go out on the road. But I feel like the whole, the car insurance thing is just I mean, I hear people's arguments for it and all that, but and the thing is, it's like even things like driving licenses, I feel like are a bit of a scam as well, because you've got so many people just somehow that they'll, you know, get through their driving license, but they're not even good drivers. It's like, it makes you wonder, like, would it be really that much worse if we just let people, I don't know, I mean, maybe it would be really bad if we let people on the road. Maybe there is a case for you needing some kind of certificate to say you can drive, but because you will get some real, like, reckless people on the roads. What's this? Is a policy that matures after minimum, like, 10 years, which has life insurance attached. Yeah, I'd rather put my money into some kind of, like, fund that I get dividends off, because at least then I can actually benefit from that in the long run. Whether that's just put it into a savings account that's got a high yield, and I can just make money in the long run instead of giving it to some frigging company that, it's like, you know, if you put all your money into that, you're not going to get the compound interest off it, are you, you know? You put money into some life insurance, whereas if you put it into, like, a high interest bank account or a stock or something like that, you have the potential for that to really, like, get you good returns, and just, you know, in 10 years time or so, you might be almost doubling the amount of money that you've invested into it. Which would probably do you a lot better than having a friggin' life insurance, possibly. But this isn't financial advice, but this is how I see it. That, is there really any point in just doing that? I don't know. What do you all think, guys? Let me know. I just feel like the system's just doing everything they can to try and grab us by the balls, you know? They're trying to make it hard to do anything, like, and trying to just take money off you and just make it so that you're struggling because you have all these bills to pay. You've got to pay for your car that costs, let's say, I don't know, a few £100 a month because, you know, you've bought out, like, a lease, let's say. Then you've got to, you know, fuel it. You've got to do all this stuff, so you can buy a car license in some countries anyway, lol. What do you mean? And about, like, some kind of counterfeit bullshit, you mean? Of course, this isn't something I would recommend to people. That obviously don't be breaking the law. But yeah, there will be people out there that will just kind of, do things not by the book. And that's just, it's one of those things, really. I feel like a lot of laws that we have, like, say, like, the war on drugs, for example, is just a load of bullshit, because remember there was that whole legal highs epidemic where, because certain drugs would be illegal, then people would go and get, like, legal drugs that were, well, they weren't, because they weren't, you know, called drugs, they would have something on it that says, not made for human consumption, but that was the main reason that people were buying it, and the reason why these companies were profitable in the first place. And they won't acknowledge that. And it's just so many messed up things going on. You've got, like, there's a lot of dodgy businesses and stuff, and it's like, because you if you like outlaw something, then, and this is why I think that stopping people from terminating pregnancy, for example, may end up with unintended consequences, like black market, you know what I mean? So the argument is that prohibition doesn't actually, because I remember I was arguing about this, no, not arguing, but I was just kind of discussing this the other week about prohibition and how it can just end up causing more problems, and that crime rate can even go up, and government want you reliant on them. Yeah, exactly. But they will never ban smoking, will they? Because obviously they're making so much tax off it. That's why they won't allow people to do weed. Not because it's worse for you, which it's not. In my opinion, it's probably not as bad. But like I say, it's still not good for you. But they'll never ban smoking because they can make so much tax off it. Yeah, black market license. Yeah, that's it. But I mean, they were like trying to crack down on some of the black markets. Like you had the counterfeit stuff on but on say was it Cheetham Hill in Manchester? I remember they stopped all that, I think, but I don't know if they've completely stopped it. I mean, but I remember there was some documentary about it a while ago, and yeah, it is dodgy stuff, that it really is. But there'll still be someone, I bet, doing it somewhere. It just goes more underground, I think, and yeah, it's like if people really want something, they can find it. There's even things like dark web where people will go on that to try and do all that stuff, because there's websites that operate on there that are doing dodgy shit, and there's really no way of stopping it all. I mean, there was this thing called Silk Road, that there was this guy who, he was quite a libertarian guy who believed in legalizing everything pretty much, and just that was his kind of like political stance and all that. But he ended up going to prison because of him being responsible for it all, because of the stuff that he was allowing on his site, that he was kind of like promoting like dangerous stuff, whatever, like from what I remember. But it's just the thing is that the government should be focusing on just the actual crimes that are being committed, that are actually like direct crimes, like for example someone who's like abused children or something like that, or someone who's killed somebody. Outlawing can cause underground business to flourish. Yeah, exactly. And we don't want that, do we? These are really like unethical people who do underground business. So yeah, it's just and it's just the whole thing of like liberty, and actually like giving people access to stuff that like, if they really want it, then they shouldn't have to like go to a black market to get it. I mean, that's just fucked up. So it's actually the government actually is encouraging crime in that sense. And they're the actual terrorists, you could argue even. That might sound a bit hyperbolic, but I actually stand by that. Look at how much atrocities they are responsible for across the world. All the wars, all the innocent people that have been killed. Literally millions. Probably, I don't know if it's millions every year, but at least every decade I reckon it's in the millions. So, and the governments around the world, they are responsible for that. They have all these people going out and fighting wars that actually are, it's not about the country or whatever they're saying it is, it's about either it's getting more resources or whatever, and it's more to benefit the establishment. But they have you believe that it's about patriotism and it's about the country, but we need to do it for our country. I think it's all a thing that they've been fed, the lie that they've been fed, to go out and kill a bunch of innocent people in the name of patriotism. And even if it was going to help with our economy, it's still not worth it, in my opinion, to, how much do we value life? Are we really that fucked up that we would prioritize our own people over innocent people being killed in some other country? So yeah, I mean, it's obviously everyone's going to have their own opinions and stuff, and this is why I talk about it, because then someone might have a different perspective on it, and we can debate it and stuff, but yeah, who else is in here then? Is anybody still here? Yeah, I've got 5 people in the house. How are you doing, everybody? I hope you're all well. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Yeah, keep the chat flowing, guys. But yeah, everything's all kind of just, they try and do all this stuff to wear you down or whatever, and just put up the prices up on everything. They make it hard to, get a house because they make it so expensive to get a deposit or for a house or a down payment for a house, whatever you want to call it. So you've got this where it's like we're almost at a point where owning a house is becoming increasingly impossible for younger people now. I would say it's still not impossible, definitely, but continuing to go this way, then it's not getting easier, is it? But I think if you still live with your parents, you have an opportunity now to save up some money. Try to not, cave into just going out all the time and partying and all that, because you're just going to blow money up in smoke. If you put some time into maybe doing a side hustle, save some money up, and then you've got before you know it, you've got 10, 20,000 saved up. And most don't care until it affects them personally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I've come to realise, that's why nothing ever changes, because it's like, for example, a lot of people don't seem to care about the whole, the whole sort of lonely men issue, because a lot of people maybe don't relate to it so much, so they're like, oh well, it doesn't matter to me, unless they know somebody that is struggling with it. And but even then, sometimes they will try and just dismiss it and just be try and blame it on them. And yeah, sometimes partially it is their own fault, but I think we as a society should actually care about this, because as men get more and more lonely, and the thing is, men, you could say, are the backbone of society. Yeah, women are also have their own role in society. They are they give birth and they nurture, but men, they are what hold society together. Without men, society, I think, would crumble. Now, everyone's going to have their own opinion on all that, but if men become more and more lonely, they have less and less desire to want to further society. They have less desire to want to, do anything productive. They won't want to bother trying to invent new things or to, come up with some new ideas, or even just to have some kind of purpose in society, because a lot of times men are motivated by thinking, well, if I can, just sort of get a woman or something, and then I'll be happy. Now, I'm not saying that should be your goal or whatever, but if, men feel kind of like that they don't have that, that if they're lonely, then they're going to be like, well, what is the point in me even trying to do anything that will, sort of further society or anything, because it's all futile anyway. It's like how you think about one thing is how you think about everything, so it can really sort of mess up your mindset on things if you feel lonely, because you can then start to be black-pilled on other things as well. You can just feel like, well, what's the point trying anything? It's a really bad mindset to get in, so if we help men become more
positive and I have a better outlook on things, then then it's like that helps everybody then. Yeah, that's it. But I think that people should start to care more. It's just one of those things that, it doesn't cost anything. If we just try to listen to people's problems and just try to help them and not just dismiss them. Just because you haven't experienced it yourself doesn't mean that they've, that they haven't. So everyone's going through their own experiences, and some people just want to dismiss and be like, you got all these privileged people out there, haven't you? That some people have just had their life quite easy. They're from maybe they've got a family that's very supportive. They've got a family that maybe they had quite a lot of money. It helped you to, get set up, and you had a great support network around you. And some of them will just kind of look down on those who are struggling and not doing very well, thinking that it's their own fault. And in some cases that could be partly the truth, but if they had a support network around them and encouraged them, then maybe they'd be doing a lot better. Detachment equals a non-caring society. I was talking about detachment earlier, and I think when I say detaching, I'm talking about detaching from outcomes, because a lot of people focus too much on a particular outcome happening at a particular time or something. Oh, I need this person to like me or something like that. And it's this neediness. But I don't know if what you mean is in people are detached in the sense of detached from each other as a community. And I think that's a big problem that we face now, is when people become more individualized, then they care less about each other because, they don't have a tribe. If you don't have a tribe, then there's no responsibility to look out for each other. But one time it was the community as a whole that would be connected, because they had these villages and stuff like that. And like I said, I think as we started getting these towns and cities, things progressed, then it became more, and obviously social media isn't helping either. But it's just they were saying everyone would know each other in these villages. You've got because it's impossible not to. You're seeing the same people every day. There's that familiarity, but then some might say, well, familiarity breeds contempt. Well, you can always go out, venture out beyond that if you really want to. You don't have to just see those people, but there's also that kind of sense of security there, I suppose, from a certain tribe, whatever, that anything goes wrong, you can probably count on each other. But it's just the whole urbanization is something I think has become a problem. We've also got a lot of overcrowding now, and it makes it seem as though we're overpopulated, because you'll see some of these cities that are just so densely populated, and you think, oh wow, the world's so overpopulated, but in some cases there's vast amounts of land. But I don't think we should really keep building onto that though. But I think that we should just try and make more use of the buildings we already have. Because in some cases there's a lot of rooms and stuff that are not being used. This was something I was arguing about the other day, that why is it that some building has been stuck there for years, not occupied with anything? Someone should be living there. I think maybe it should be used for some kind of other purpose instead of... but some are saying also that immigration isn't really helping. But what do you guys think? Immigration is maybe a factor, but I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, you meant as a community, yeah. Well, I think we should probably detach from particular outcomes and particular people, because you never know what's going to happen. You need to just kind of keep an open mind and just kind of, some people will just kind of come and go, Like, that's just what it is, You have to just be able to be okay with that, Not everyone's meant to stay in your life. You have some friend that comes into your life, you get close with them. Maybe that won't be forever, who knows, but just gotta flow like water, as what Bruce Lee said. Be like water. That's what you gotta do. Go with the flow and just kind of be formless, be shapeless, all that kind of thing. Just become and don't let anything else define you. You gotta become formless. Don't be pigeonholed, put in a box or anything like that. Be unique. Because when you become unique and you're like that, then you don't need anybody else to complete you, because you already are everything by yourself. You are the Alpha and the Omega. So it's about self-love, detaching yourself, and working towards your goals, but don't get too caught up in that either. Huge security if they don't see you for a couple of days, they come knocking, or call sick people get meats put outside their door to see, meals, that's good that people will do that for each other, because oftentimes you might get someone say, they're in a city or whatever, and then they're, no one even knows if, say, they've been not gone out for a week. No one will notice anything, right? They've not gone out for a week, and they might have been sick, and they might have passed away, but no one knew. No one knew that they were getting sick. They couldn't get out of bed. They weren't even able to. They might have just been so sick that they couldn't even get to their phone to even call an ambulance or something. Something bad might have happened, and they couldn't even get to the phone. But they might have been, unless they just scream, but they might not even have the energy to do that. What if they go into a coma or something, There's all sorts of things that can happen, and no one looks out for each other, do they? It's just sad, but there is in these little communities, but on the whole, it's just become so detached from each other. We're just me, But then as soon as it matters, then it's like, hello, grow the garden. Can you do a push-up? Yeah, I can. Why? I mean, I'll just do a few push-ups if you want. How are we doing, everybody? I hope you're all well. Hit that like button, share the live out, and subscribe if you're new here. Let's just do about maybe 10 reps or something. So this is what we do. Alright. There you go. Alright, what we're saying in the chat. The community spirit in the Mediterranean is very strong still. Yeah, it's not so Western, if you will. I think a lot of these Western countries like the UK, like the US, like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, those kind of countries, those kind of
you know, a lot of you like, Western nations are just a bunch of like, oftentimes not much support network or anything, just But yeah, some people like want to like do like off-grid communities and stuff, but it can be hard to find trustworthy people though. And so many people are, oh, take care, Tom. Alright, is anybody else still there? So it's hard to find people that are trustworthy, I think. Because everyone all seems to be out for themselves, you know, for the most part. Like, they're just so much into the whole kind of system where it's like, oh, what could I get out of it? Maybe it's just part of like human nature where we would just kind of try to exploit things and try to seek power. Some people just want to seek power over community and respect and all that. And anyway, how are we doing? Anyway, I hope you're all well. So I thought I'd have a look at Nutter channel and see what that's like, but yeah, I'll probably go and subscribe to it afterwards. In fact, I could subscribe to it now, but yeah, might as well just do that. But yeah, just try and get into like supportive communities and stuff like that to try and kind of it goes live regularly, so go and give that a sub. And then anyway, how's everybody doing? I hope you're all well tonight. Thank you all for joining me. Whoever we got in here still, let me know. Apparently there's 5 people watching, so if you are there, please just say hello or something. Yeah. Any plans for the weekend, guys? Anyone doing anything interesting? Yeah, I don't know if it's some people I've blocked or something that I've just kind of still going to be lurking there, trying to, because they won't be able to chat if I block them, you know, so maybe that's why it says there's 5, and I'm just like, like there was that friggin' Strictly Cycling or whatever, and it just, apparently it's a very obnoxious person who pisses off a lot of people, because it's like, the whole thing, apparently they have this sort of, it's my way or the highway kind of mentality, and I can't be doing with that kind of crap. I can't be doing with egos and just like, arrogant kind of people. I think it might be one of these cases where you get someone who's old, who's like, they get to like 60 years old or so, and they think that because they're so old that they know everything, they know more than you. It's like there's that kind of narcissism in some cases where it's like, the whole thing of like, you know, that old people are wiser necessarily. Of course, on the whole, generally they are, but in some cases they can also be out of touch with reality because of a lot of stuff isn't, you know, kind of applicable to modern life. So they're like, back in my day. It's like they're always going about back in my day or whatever, and it's like, yeah, but times have changed now. You can't just, you know, it's like people going on about like, oh, why are these young people so lazy and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, back in your day, things were different, you know, like there was a sense of purpose to go out working. Whereas nowadays, times have changed. All this corporate environment, you didn't really have that back then. There weren't all these corporate jobs back then. It was largely, a lot of them were small businesses as well as like kind of just, you know, you would have these kind of factory jobs and stuff, but like there were people will like know each other and all that, and they were a lot more social, and a lot of people actually enjoy going there because they'd have people that, you know, that would kind of like look out for each other more. But nowadays, like the jobs that people are doing, it's like, you know, there's this kind of hostility, there's this kind of just toxicness about it, so a lot of people just don't want to be taking part in that.
just to end up with some shitty wage, and it's like wages haven't kept up with inflation. It's like at one time a man could like get by on, you know, let's say a man does a job and he can, not only does he get by, but also he can raise a family with it and pay for his wife as well, for her to be able to stay at home and raise a child. So, you know, things were way different back then. They actually had a living wage in a lot of cases. You know, and the whole American dream was a lot more viable. But nowadays, times have changed. And, yeah. So why does anyone want to even bother if they feel like the system's rigged against them? You know? But I would say that people should still try and make something happen, even if it doesn't mean the American dream or whatever, or the British dream, whatever you want to call it. That you want to just try and focus on the life that you want to live and try to take actionable steps towards that. So anyway, so who's still in here? So I don't know if it's just people I've blocked or something or what, but there's a bunch of people just lurking here. About there's 7 people here now, so yeah, just say hello if you're watching. I mean, I don't know, I don't bite. Just yeah, hit that like button, everybody. Maybe they're just busy with something, but it's good to chat to you all though. I really enjoy coming on here and interacting with everyone. I just want to keep growing with this thing. I want to keep putting out the content and do a lot of shorts. I'm trying to focus on that because that seems to be what's helping my channel the most. And yeah, I mean, the one I put out earlier has got me some, you know, new subs. So yeah, just trying to just keep going with that. Try to inspire people. Try to share different things. Been sharing like the workouts and things like that, you know. But yeah, it's just I've just got to deal with all the criticism as well. There's always going to be people that are going to try and, you know, have something bad to say, but it doesn't mean that you're doing bad or anything. It just means that there's some people who just, that's just their personality. They'll always find some kind of thing to nitpick. And I can't be doing that kind of energy in here. I usually just end up blocking these people because I'm like, but then maybe that ends up sabotaging my channel because some say, oh, well, if you didn't block them, maybe they could become friendly. I'm like, it's hard for me to just deal with all that shit, so I just kind of block it out. I don't want to have all these negative comments, but then if I keep blocking people, then I end up with like no viewers. I don't know, and no comments. But anyway. So what are you guys up to this weekend anyway? Yeah, everybody okay? Yeah, it's been really warm today. And sweating a bit, so yeah. But I don't mind it, I guess. It's just, I remember it got hot like a few weeks ago or so. And it was like really hot for the time of year. And it was like, it got a bit much. I think it was just because I wasn't used to that heat at like that time of year, so I'm like, but I actually don't mind it. It's like it got to about 25 degrees today, which is still quite hot really for here, but yeah. It's maybe get a little bit cooler tomorrow, but yeah. It's going to be quite warm tonight though, so some people might struggle with the heat in bed or something, but yeah. How's everybody doing anyway? I hope you're all well. Share out the live if you can, but I shouldn't have to say that because it is on the screen, so Yeah, still 5 people in here apparently. I don't know who these people are, but we've got a bunch of lurkers, I see. So my thoughts is maybe it's maybe someone that's been blocked. I don't know, because like I say, I've blocked quite a few people. So you know, it's just there's certain things I can't stand. So maybe that's something I need to work on. That if someone has something nasty to say, then I'm just gonna have to try and just deal with that. You know, it's like at times maybe I am being a bit of a snowflake when I'm like seeing these things, but you know, I admit that I have my own issues and stuff. But some people have too much pride to kind of admit their faults. You know, they think that the world owes them something, and sometimes in the moment I feel like that, but then I look back and I'm like, I was being a bit pathetic, to be honest. You know, it's like things aren't always going to go your way, so you have to be alright with that. You know, things are just going to like go as they're supposed to go, but you know, you just gotta focus on what makes you happy. Now I've been going out doing my workouts. I've met a bunch of new people, you know, through that. There's one that I see sometimes, you know, around town, and it's by putting yourself out there in these environments, you can meet new people that are like-minded, you know. So all these people out there that are feeling lonely, maybe just try and get yourself out, whether that's a group or just go out and do some fitness, and then you might meet someone doing that, you know. But it's like, you'll never know unless you try, you know. Just put one foot in front of the other and just try something. Yeah, it might not work out, but at least you tried. At least you're going to look back and think, well, at least I tried, instead of feeling like a failure and just like never trying at all. They say like, you only fail when you give up trying, you know. So anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're all well. Feel free to ask questions. How do you like the new backdrop, guys? What do you think? Does everybody like the new backdrop? So maybe I'll stick with this one for now, if people like it. Some people thought that it looked a bit like weed, the other one, so maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't have that. Maybe something that looks a bit, I guess this one looks a bit more professional. What do you guys think? Let me know. Maybe I should stick with this. Anyway, we're almost on 10 PM already, blimey. It goes quick when you start getting into these like deep conversations and stuff, you know. I do like to get into like the deeper conversations about things. That's why I enjoy coming on here, because Doom Guy Jack says new backdrop is good. Yeah, how are you doing, Jack? I hope you're well. Yeah, so I'm just trying things out and seeing what works, because the thing is that I want to try and see what, you know, attracts viewers and all that. But yeah, as long as I don't feel like I'm trying to sell out or anything, because I don't really believe in doing that. Anyway, hit that like button, everybody. Share this out if you can. So you've been here before, right? Anyway, some people say that when you sweat toxins out. Is that actually true? Or you like the chains, do you? Oh yeah. So some say that you can sweat toxins out. I mean, but then I remember people saying that, oh, that's not true. But some people use like sauna or like exercise, you know, to sweat and get rid of toxins. But yeah, thing is, if you're sweating, you're also sweating out a lot of electrolytes. So you need to make sure that you keep the electrolyte levels up, like your sodium, your potassium, your magnesium, things like that. So yeah, because some people have like low salt diet. Say for example, if all you eat is just pure fruits and vegetables, you get some of these people who never eat any salt at all. So I think having the small amount of salt in your diet is fine, as long as, you know, like you're not having too much in your system. But anyway, how are we doing tonight, everybody? I hope you're all well. Keep the chat flowing. Now come on here, try and, you know, sort of interact with people and make conversation and all that. So it's really up to you guys. You know, this is for all you guys. This is a platform for people to come and make conversation and all that. So yeah. So whereabouts are you from, if you don't mind me asking? Anyway, Jack. So I'm in York, and weather's been pretty warm, so can't complain. I didn't mind it because it felt actually a bit breezy today. So when it's a bit breezy, like, it kind of doesn't feel too bad. I'm good. How are you? Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's been quite warm, but there's a little bit of a breeze up, so it kind of, yeah, I quite like it when it's warm, but it's a bit breezy, because it just feels like, you know, it just makes the air feel more fresh. It's like if you put a fan on in a hot room, it just makes it feel more fresh. I remember when we used to make, like, the paper fans. Anyone made the paper fans? Oh, you're from Nantwich. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I know you've got, Cheshire, innit? You got Northwich, Middlewich, and Nantwich. I guess Nant means south or something, because you got Northwich, Middlewich, and Nantwich in Cheshire. So yeah, I know, like, Northwich, there was this thing called the Anderton Boat Lift, which I went on when I was a kid. Have you ever been there? Weather's been rubbish for us today. Oh, really? Wow. I would have thought it would have been alright there, but it's been, has it been windy or something? But yeah, it's just odd how the weather's been different over here, really. But yeah, I guess is it because, like, you're quite close to Wales or something, and you get all that kind of, like, rubbish weather from that side of things? Maybe, I don't know. You're almost in North Wales over there, aren't you? So yeah, I actually went up Snowdon a few years ago, and it was literally all, like, it was so foggy up there. It was, yeah, it's not always going to be like that, but a lot of the time it can be like that. Anyway, hit that like button, everybody. Share the live out if you can. Yeah, rained in morning and just been bad overcast. Oh, really? Oh, no, that's not good. But yeah, it's been quite hot here actually today, but we've had a breeze, so it's been kind of, yeah. I think the weather generally seems to be a bit better over this side. I used to live in Blackburn, and it was pretty miserable there as well a lot of the time. I remember, yeah, it would never seem to get, like, sometimes it would just never seem to brighten up. It would just stay dull all day and rain. But yeah, it doesn't seem quite as bad over here somehow. It's just, I think because it's this other side of the Pennines, it just seems to be a bit, yeah, like, it's to do with, like, yeah, because I remember someone was explaining it to me a while ago. But yeah, we do get the odd, like, storms and stuff, which can get really bad, and it can get flooded down the river, because we've got, like, two rivers in York, and, like, one flows into the other, and it's like the river can get really flooded, and it can cause, like, really bad, yeah, it can go up really high. There's a lot of, like, tributaries flowing into it and stuff, and it just, yeah, so around winter it pretty much always floods. So yeah, you'll see sometimes, like, the park down the river, it floods out literally. The other year it completely flooded. It was crazy, and it stayed like that for weeks, I think. And the park couldn't even be used because it was all flooded out. But yeah, it's that's the weather for you, innit? But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Nantwich, it's yeah, that's not too far from, like, what is it? Like Wrexham and all that, so yeah. But yeah, I've been to, like, been to North Wales a couple of times actually, but yeah. But yeah, Nantwich is Cheshire, but it's, like, on the border of Wales. So I don't know what the accent's like where you are. Is it kind of a bit, I'm guessing, maybe like a watered down Scouse or something? Or is it kind of different? Some people say the Stoke accent's kind of like a watered down Scouse accent. But I find it's a bit, I think there's a bit of, like, a kind of Midland sort of twang as well. But yeah, it's just there's so many different accents. It's crazy, like all the different variations of accents and things like that. So I find it quite fascinating how you can go like 10 minutes down the road and the accent changes. Like, for example, when I was living in Blackburn, I would go to the next town and I would notice some subtle differences in the accent. And then you go to the next town and it changes again, even more different. And then you go half an hour away, the accent's completely different. Yeah, I mean, and it's also changed a lot over the years as well. There was actually this like folk band called Five Penny Piece, and they were like from near Manchester, but the accent was so different back then. It was like an old Lancashire accent, and it was really strong. Like they were pronouncing things in ways that it would almost be hard to understand, like what they're saying for some people now. Like you'd be like, what are they even on about? I guess it's like the old Yorkshire accent as well can be like that, where like there was a song that someone did called Ilkley Morbar Tap. We sound like Manchester, to be honest. Alright, so more of like a kind of, yeah, like a generic northern accent, I guess. Yeah, if I remember, like Chester had like a kind of slight Scouse accent. Also North Wales tend to have like a kind of slight kind of Scouse twang. I've been told I sound like I'm from Manchester. Oh yeah. So maybe the whole Scouse twang might explain some of the Scouse accent. But I think the Scouse accent also took on a bit of an Irish sort of influence as well, and probably some Lancashire as well. But yeah, just a few different influences that the Scouse accent got. But yeah, Manchester. I remember I was talking with someone and they reckon that Manchester has a bit of a Scouse twang as well, but I don't really hear it that much. It just kind of sounds a bit more kind of plain, I guess. Like Scousers have this kind of bit of a squeakiness to their voice, which is probably from that kind of Irish sort of, with that sort of more high-pitched kind of tone that they have. Yeah, anyway, so, oh yeah, have you ever been to Birkenhead Park? Because I want to actually go because apparently it was the inspiration for Central Park in New York. So yeah, did you know that Birkenhead Park was the inspiration for Central Park? I thought that was quite fascinating to hear that. So someone was telling me about that and actually kind of went and fact-checked it, and it's actually true. So yeah, I think there's so many things from Britain like inspired America, didn't it, you know? Like a lot of the town names, the cities and stuff. It's like, for example, Boston. Like the original Boston's in the England, in Lincolnshire. And it's like all these places, like, you know, you've got, it's just, the Americans have stolen all these names, haven't they? And like, yeah. It's the same with like Canada as well. They've got quite a few, like Scarborough and a few places like that. London, they've got a London in Ontario, just like how in Alabama in America you've got Birmingham. Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah. I'm just quite into like geography and different dialects and accents and things like that. That's one of my interests, you could say. I learnt a lot of different like accents and things like that. I would like kind of try to, I know now, what's that? But yeah, like it was in like, you've learnt some, yeah, about the Birkenhead Park you're talking about. Birkenhead. Cool fact, yeah, go look it up. Was Birkenhead Park the inspiration for Central Park. It says, yes, Birkenhead Park in Merseyside, England is widely acknowledged as the inspiration for New York City's Central Park. So there you go. Love to go to Canada one day. What do you want to see in Canada? Do you want to go to Toronto, or where do you want to go? Montreal or Vancouver or Calgary? Isn't Calgary like a cowboy town or something, isn't it, eh? It's like they have... Yeah. Which part of Canada would you go to, eh? It's like they almost talking kind of a little bit Scottish. They have this kind of... Yeah, probably because they had a lot of like Scottish people moving there. Obviously, Nova Scotia. But they also had a lot of Irish influence in like, what was it? Newfoundland. Go and listen to the Newfoundland accent. You'll be surprised. It's very Irish sounding. Like, yeah, they almost sound incomprehensible. It's like really strong accent. It's, yeah. Anyway, how are we doing tonight, everybody? I hope you're all well. Share this out if you can, guys. Sharing is caring. I don't know how much longer I'm staying on. Maybe like a few more minutes, but yeah. Yeah, it's great to have you all here as always. Yeah, feel free to ask questions, everybody. Hey, guy, hey. Yeah. I remember there was like, I think it was a South Park episode where they were making fun of the Canadian accent or something. I'm not your buddy, friend. Alright, is that something they say? I don't drink maple syrup, eh? Just because I'm Canadian, I don't eat maple syrup, eh? Oh yeah, South Park. I've seen some funny clips off that, like when Randy goes on Wheel of Fortune. That was quite funny. Yeah, has anyone seen that one? I'm not going to spoil it if anyone's not seen it, but it's a funny one, that. Yeah. And it's like, I found that, what is it, like Eric Cartman has this kind of like funny way that he talks. And he's, for some reason, he's obsessed with people sucking his balls or some shit. Like, what the hell? Alright, take care. He's like, suck my balls! Like, the way he kind of pronounces it's kind of, yeah, different. But apparently he's like, kind of not really like a very nice character. But sometimes, like, the one that gets, you know, like the kind of chubby character can feel like a bit sort of like bitter. Is that why sometimes I've noticed, like, sometimes you get these, like, the ginger kids end up actually becoming kind of bitter, and they start to kind of, maybe they start to pick on other people because they got picked on. Because I remember, like, some of them had, like, a short temper. I'm not saying they all do, but I noticed that, yeah, some of them weren't. It could just be a coincidence, but it could be that they've just been kind of sick of all the teasing and all the name calling and all that when they were in school. Because oftentimes, like, you'd be the only ginger in the class or something, and that would be a kind of unfortunate. You know, where it's like, people find something to pick on. You know, they would be like, oh, this guy's ginger, let's try and make fun of that. They'll try to, you know, find something in somebody else probably because they're not happy with themselves. Just doing a few crunches, so.
Anyway, who's still here? I hope everyone's well. Share this out if you can, guys. I'll stay on a few more minutes. Just keep the chat flowing. Where is everybody tonight? I've not seen anything of Reluctant Gamer. I've not seen a lot of people really. But yeah. I think I saw, what was it? $1 rep for a bit, but yeah, I guess people are busy Friday night or something, so yeah. So it's a busy night, isn't it? Friday night, you know. So fair enough. Anyway, so yeah, keep the chat flowing, guys. This is for all you guys, you know. This is a place to come and interact and make connections. Want everyone to feel, you know, they've got a place to come and connect. I'll make sure everybody, everybody feels connected, feels welcome, as long as they're respectful. Because I'm not putting up, like I said, I'm not putting up with any nonsense. Like, why should I have to deal with all that, you know? So if you've not got anything good to say, then don't say anything. Like, if you're having a bad day or something, then just either just go away and do something else, or let's try and help you. You know, if you need help, then try and just come and hang out with us, you know? Come and, you know, because it's like, how can we help you unless, you know, unless you say something? If you're just going to be like annoying, then it's like, I'm most likely just going to get rid of you. Anyway, I've been on for nearly 3 friggin' hours, so yeah, probably see who's live in a bit. Any questions, guys? You got anyone still here? There's 2 people watching apparently, so yeah. Anyway, I think, yeah, Eric LaPointe, is he on? No, he's not live now, so yeah, who else is live? Yeah, Cheyenne's live, I think. Probably get off in a couple of minutes. Has anyone got anything else you want to ask? Feel free to ask questions. Yeah, have a drink. Yeah, so like I said, we've just got to, you know, if you want to get something in life, you have to just go for it. Not to try and, the thing is not to make scapegoats for your own failures, and like not to blame other things outside of you. To like take responsibility. Not be a snowflake, not be offended because things aren't going the right way and people aren't supporting you. The thing is, maybe you need to up your game. I'm talking to myself here actually, but yeah, it's up to you, you know. If you're not going to up your game, then you're just going to get the mediocre results then, aren't you, you know. It's ultimately up to you. You know, do you even deserve to be doing well? You know, if you're not putting the work in, then well, what makes you feel like you're so special, you know? We have to drop our ego and think, okay, well, I'm not some special person unless I really, you know, assert myself. Then I'm not. What makes me special? What makes me better than everybody else? You know, because everyone else, you know, so many people trying to make it in this life that, you know, you're probably not that special.
So you have to come to terms with that, and yeah, and if people aren't supporting you, then maybe you need to up your game. Anyway, so yeah, I'll do a couple more minutes, guys, before I go. Might just do some more of the core stuff. Yeah, I just want to kind of like give practical advice and share different ideas, have people think about things in a different way. That's what I'm about here, you know, about realistic goals instead of just telling people BS. Doesn't help anybody, does it, you know? A lot of people just aren't doing themselves any favours, are they? Wasting their time with BS. Distracting themselves, numbing themselves with content that's just keeps them from blimey, it's 26 degrees in here. Yeah. People distracting themselves with whatever, gambling or some kind of addiction that isn't actually getting to the root of their problem. Instead, we need to focus on the solution. But the thing is, that might be hard, you know. It isn't necessarily easy to, you know, find a solution, but in the long run, I think it's going to be the most, you know, kind of practical way of dealing with things. Instead of just, you know, having all these vices that you're like, you know, I mean, we all have some kind of vice. But we have to kind of, you know, sort of try to work on that and realise when that vice is becoming toxic and becoming a sort of, basically like a substitute for an actual solution. Using alcohol as a way to make you confident, for example, because you lack real confidence. Because to me, if you have to be confident, if you have to be drunk to be confident, then you're not really confident, are you? You're just trying to kind of just sort of dull your mind down to try and escape all your problems, to forget about them, so that you can have this fake confidence. But until you've addressed it, then you're not really confident, are you? You're not a naturally confident person. I think natural confidence is what we should be trying to build. Otherwise, you just, you know, this kind of it's like you get these fake alpha males who are trying to show off all their wealth and all that. Going back to the whole thing of why do we even need all this wealth? All you're going to do is just end up with a bunch of, you know, like fake people in your life who are only there because you have money. You know, they'll pretend to be your friends just to try and use you, to exploit you. You know, why do you want that? I think deep down you know it's not good, but you just have it because, well, you know, that you're told that you're not successful unless you're rolling in money. But you know, it's just sad, isn't it, really? And we've got 6 people in the house. How are you doing, everybody? I hope you're all well. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I am live every day. I put shorts out as well every day. I've got a new one out today, so go check it out when you get a chance. But yeah, just try to stay positive, but you know, it can be, you know, easier said than done. But yeah, But I've been trying to get into like meditation, and that's been going pretty well. I do that like almost every day now, actually, and I'll get through like the session, like the guided meditation, and I'm like, at the end, I'm like, I want to just keep going. Sometimes I'm just enjoying being in that kind of state of consciousness where I'm just kind of more relaxed. And I just want to kind of sometimes just stay in that state, and it's, can't stay in it forever, but got stuff to do, but anyway. So how are we all doing tonight, everybody? I hope you're all well. And just keep chatting, guys. It just would be nice to have a few more comments at least, but oh well. But like I said, I'm not going to focus on that. It's just, I appreciate all the people that have stopped by and left some comment, because without that, there wouldn't really be a show with us. So what are you guys up to anyway? What are your plans for this weekend? Looks like this live's getting pushed out pretty well tonight, I see, so yeah, just unfortunately, people are just scrolling past, but like I said, they'll do what they'll do. I guess I'm just in a more positive mood, I guess. I just like to have good conversations and thought-provoking and just kind of share my insights, my wisdom and all that. Try to connect with people. I think one of the things is I've been getting more into like these shows and stuff, like comedy shows and things like that, and trying to maybe because I can connect with people a bit more. Because the problem is I wasn't really doing myself any favors with I wasn't really watching anything. I was just kind of doing bits of YouTube and stuff like that, so I wouldn't really have a lot to talk about. And the thing is, if you haven't got anything to talk about, then you might be a bit of a boring person. So what I've learned is that, I'm doing this, I'm watching these things because I want to watch them, but but you get that benefit of like being able to have something to talk about, something to bond over. Because otherwise, if you're just this boring person, then no one wants to really be around you because you don't have anything to offer. You're not connecting with the group. You're just boring. Who wants to be around boring people, Unless they're boring themselves, Boring, miserable people just all flocking together, just like how successful people will flock together, So what's everybody up to this weekend? If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Like I say, I'm live every day, so what's my battery on? 29%. Wow, it really drains the battery quick, so yeah. But if anyone wants to support the channel, super chat, even just like £1 or something, well, would be really appreciated. But if you don't have the money, that's fine as well, I understand a lot of people are struggling for money at the moment, so just do whatever you can, whatever you feel comfortable doing. This is about, just sharing my thoughts and stuff, so yeah. But it would be really appreciated if people would, make a kind donation. But at least just like the live or something and show support that way. So I'm trying to do this every day and trying to grow this platform. I want to see things, blossom. It's been taking a while, but let me just check the watch page a second. I don't think there's anybody here, is there? I've got 11 likes on the live. Let me just like my own live. That was last. So we were talking about South Park. Been getting into some the South Park stuff as well as Family Guy. I quite like some of the dark humor stuff that's in them. That's just my sense of humor. I quite like the dark humor stuff. I quite like the edgy dark humor stuff, but everyone's got their own preferences. You're gonna have some people who think it's distasteful, but I just see it as it's a joke. It's not meant to be, serious. It's not like deliberately trying to offend anybody. It's just we're supposed to just be having a laugh and just yeah. But some people are boring and they'll just like, they can't take a joke. But yeah, that's the problem. And sometimes I've been like that myself. It's just not fun, is it, when you're a snowflake and you just can't take a joke. You have to just, Anyway, I hope you're all well tonight. But yeah, just gotta not worry about where things are going. What's meant to be will be. Enjoy the moment. Because nothing's guaranteed, right? The future's not guaranteed. People in your life aren't guaranteed to stay. Something could happen to them. They could pass away or anything. But yeah, it's just you just gotta focus on bringing joy to your life. But the thing is, it all comes from within ultimately. You can try and seek it from somebody else, but you can't rely on that. You can only rely on yourself. So I've come to realize you are the source of all of your problems and all of your joy and all that. You are the captain of your own ship, if you will. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're powerless, because you have a lot more power than you realize, probably. And sometimes I forget that and feel worthless or whatever and feel powerless, because in that moment maybe things aren't going so well. In the grand scheme of things, I'm feeling pretty positive. I have a positive outlook. I can make things happen. Hello, runner boy. How have you been? Better late than never, eh? Yeah. I guess you've been busy. Is it with work or something, or what have you been up to? But yeah, it seems like we're getting a bit more views on the lives. Yeah, I've changed the background on this thing. What do you think? Do you like it? Let me know. Yeah, give me your input. So yeah, we're at 372 views on this live. It has been going for over 3 hours though, but that's pretty good statistics. Yeah, because I used to go on live and some of them would get pretty bad. My last restream did well. I was worried. Oh yeah, wait, did well? You're saying? How much views and stuff did you get? I didn't have a chance to see it, unfortunately, but sometimes you go on when I'm out doing stuff. But guess what? I saw the same guy from the other day at the workout park, and yeah, he's a bit of like a eccentric kind of character. He's quite a 5K on the last one. All right, oh cool. Do you do weighted pull-ups? I struggle to even do regular pull-ups, let alone weighted pull-ups, Peter. I mean, I'm trying to work on doing the regular pull-up. I'm a tall guy, so it's harder to do pull-ups, but I'm trying to just get better at that first before I start adding weight. But yeah, how are you doing anyway, Peter? I could probably just only do like a friggin' 10 pound for like a 1 rep or something, I don't know. As soon as I went to sleep, the views jumped away up. That's typical, isn't it, Yeah. So what do you guys think about Usain Farhat? Do you think he's natural or not? Peter says good. Oh yeah, you just ran a mile. Oh yeah, what's your record time for a mile? I'm not sure if I'm going slower now because of like building muscle. But yeah, you done weighted pull-ups. Oh cool. But it might just be that I hadn't been really training running so much. But I think like putting on muscle might slow you down a little bit though, because especially on like anything more than a few hundred meters. Like if you're doing sprints, then it can actually help. But like longer distance runs, like middle distance to long distance, having a lot of muscle might actually be a hindrance to that. That's why I started on this beta alanine, because it can help to offset some of that burn. 6 minutes 20 seconds. I have health problems, and running is the hardest thing for me to do. Well, that's good time though. That, yeah, I mean that's good time for anybody. So I got 50 hours from the last restream, so roughly I'll need 100 more hours when that's counted on. Oh yeah, so hopefully you can, yeah, get them in tonight or whatever. 6 minutes and 20 seconds today. Oh cool, yeah. Hi Gravity Core Fitness, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, so Piers was coming into my chat. I've blocked him now because he was saying some shit that I'm no better than Cabbage. I'm like, what is his problem? I mean, oh, that's good then, but I'm just wondering what the hell this guy's problem is. Like, he's always had a problem with me, that guy, so I'm like, I've just had enough. Like, yeah, how are you doing? I mean, Gravity Core Fitness is fine. It's just, there was this guy called Pierce DeRuse or something, and he's like one of the mods in there, and it was like, I was timed out for a second time the other day, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, anyway. I mean, maybe I was just being a bit kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I was saying some things that were a bit, yeah, how are you doing, 1 dot, correct. 2K is 1.25 miles, yeah, roughly, yeah. Yeah, it's about that, because it's roughly about 5/8 of a mile to 1 kilometer, roughly. Yeah, so that's about right. Yeah. What was your name again? Was it? Anyway, 1 dot, correct. I don't respect anyone who keeps people like that around, if I'm honest. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, I'm just trying to like not like hold any grudges or anything like that. But yeah, it can be difficult sometimes when you've got people that seem a bit kind of fishy and all that. But yeah, so we had Joey, isn't it? Yeah. Mark and Joe are my best friends. Jamie, I love them. Oh, that's good then. So yeah, I guess you're not going live tonight then. Well, you went live earlier, didn't you, Mark? But I didn't stop by. But yeah, I think I was doing something else. But yeah, I was just actually, to be honest with you, it was probably because I was like, I don't know. I just felt a bit awkward because he was there last night, and yeah. To be honest with you, I was like, kind of, yeah. I don't know. It was in my chat last night, and I was like, I don't know. We didn't go live today. I thought I saw, oh no, it must have been yesterday or something, but, oh yeah, because you put that post out supporting me, so I appreciate doing that, but, yeah. But yeah, I was kind of like having a debate on things like form last night, and people talking about form, and like I was like, well, I was talking with Pulsing Iron about it, and well, what he was saying is that it depends on how much volume and intensity you're doing with bad form as to how much you can get away with, and how bad the form is. So it's kind of it's something that you'll just kind of figure out on your own if, like, say, you listen to your body. If you find that form is, you know, kind of causing some problems, then your body will tell you. If you're finding some kind of, like I was doing some exercise against a wall that was ended up causing some issues in my wrist, and I had to stop doing it. So you either have to stop doing an exercise, or you have to, like, change it up in a way to make it more, you know, a good form, if you will. So I think sometimes we have to kind of go through an experience to like kind of learn from it. It's like someone can tell you, oh, this is how you do things, but I think by kind of going through it, then it's like you can kind of like be like, okay, well, that was not a good idea, now I'm going to change it up, because oftentimes we'll just kind of, sometimes we'll try and do something and then we'll sort of cheat a rep, for example, or something, and we'll try to do it where we mess the form up, but then over time we'll be like, oh shit, it's not a good idea. But you have to listen to your body though, because some people get so kind of caught up in like the ego lifting and all that they end up messing themselves up, getting injured. So as long as you can like listen to your body and like sort of then yeah, you should be fine. But it's just unless you're doing some crazy shit like 1 rep maxes and stuff, then form is a lot more important with that. I think when it comes to like, there's more chance of shit going wrong. Yeah. What's that? Oh shit. What's that? About oh, it's not going live. Maybe tomorrow we will go live. See how Joe feels. Well, that is rough. But there's a lot of there's shit going on, and it's I don't know like what was the me personally, strict form progressive overload is key, right? Yeah. Maybe there's like a case for like cheat reps in certain cases. For example, if you want to try and grind out a couple more reps, it could be like a form of drop setting. Like for example, if you're doing a curl, and then if you're struggling to get more reps out, then maybe doing a bit of momentum at the end of the rep, as long as you're mindful not to, fuck yourself up, then maybe that might be safe if you don't like overdo it and like kind of but it's, like I say, it's down to the individual as to like what the body can deal with. But yeah, it's like there's not like a one size fits all kind of thing. That point right there is failure. Well, that's beyond failure. It's like it would be considered like a drop set. Either you would do partial reps, or like you would just kind of like go like do it like in a kind of somewhat of like a cheating way or something, as long as you're not trying to do it too much. And yeah, it could be a way to really like exhaust the muscle, but you can get more out of a set then or something. Because if you're short on time, then like drop setting can be a way to do that. I've heard, like, or you can do supersets or drop sets. I've heard drop sets can reduce your workout time by somewhere between like 30 to 60% or something like that. If I remember, it was like quite a big difference. I think to do with like compressing your workout into a shorter amount of time, doing better quality reps, because it's those last grindy reps that if you're trying to just, I mean, this is the thing with a lot of these calisthenics workouts, that you might find that it requires more volume to get it done, depending on the type of exercises you do. Like, for example, if you're doing a bunch of burpees, then you're going to be there all day trying to like get that volume in, because it's just not as, but it's more for cardio, I would say. So, but yeah, but it's arguably not going to be as effective for building muscle for like, if you're going to be doing it like unless you're wanting to do it all day, because it's like, it's going to take a lot longer to exhaust the muscles because you're not keeping tension on them. I don't drop set, I pyramid up. Check out Dorian Yates, he explains it wonderfully. I'm talking about like just, let's say doing like a heavy set and then immediately dropping the weight, or doing a easier variation. For example, doing like if let's say you're doing like a kind of, one way you could do, say, like, is doing push-ups, and then if you can't do any more, you would then do knee push-ups. Now, I'm not saying everyone should do that, but some people do that as a way to fully exhaust the muscle at the end of like a workout or something, to like, so then they don't have to then go and do another. They can squeeze another kind of like mini set in with like a few more reps of like good quality sort of reps. I mean, because it's like they say if you give your muscles too long to recover, then it can sort of like slow things down. But yeah, wasted volume. Some argue that it's actually the opposite, like that it actually because that's when your muscles are like in that kind of more, in that sort of getting that more of that damage towards the end of a set, and then continuing that set with like a lighter load or something to continue to exhaust it further. But some might argue that that's not very good, but some say it can help like reduce the amount of time that you spend doing the workout by compressing it. I don't know. I mean, everyone's got their own strategy. Some people use supersets, like doing one exercise and like doing like, sort of like agonist, antagonist and all that kind of thing, where they'll do triceps and then biceps or the other way around or whatever. If you can recover by the next week, you can push harder, is how I see it. I'm talking about recovery from each set. But yeah, everyone's got their own strategies. I suppose like there's many ways to skin a cat, as they say. And this is the thing, is you've got to find what works for you. So if doing drop sets, what works for you, if doing supersets works for you, then, and if it doesn't, none of that works, then just kind of go more for like conventional sets, whatever, Everyone's got their own strategy, so I'm not here to preach or anything, just here to kind of share my thoughts and kind of, just kind of like interact and just see what people think. Yeah. All right. I take about 3 minutes between sets. Yeah. Well, some people, what they'll do, like sometimes I'll do this where I'll like do a set and then I'll kind of do some other exercise while I'm waiting to recover from that other one, because they reckon it doesn't really take too much away from the other exercise. So for example, if you're doing your, let's say you're doing, I was doing like push-ups and then straight into squats the other day, right? Because if I do that, then I'm like, my body's recovering from that push-ups whilst I'm doing the squats. So then I can go back to it afterwards. But if I go in really heavy, it'll take longer. Yeah, I think, is it heavier loads take longer because of, some people go up to like 5 minutes between sets. But for some people that's just not really practical and they just want to get it done. So it all depends on what you've got time for, really. But yeah, I suppose strength training can be quite time consuming. I think, was it people like Eddie Hall, they literally spend all day in the gym, like they go, in the morning, they set off to the gym, and then at the end of the session, and then they've got to do all the friggin' hyperbaric oxygen therapy and all the recovery stuff, So I'm like thinking to myself, what kind of life is that? They're eating all the time, they're at the gym all the time. It's like, what kind of life is that? I'm thinking to myself. Like, I don't quite understand the whole mentality around that they kind of just, it takes over their life. For what? Just for the glory? I mean, is it worth it? I don't know. I suppose if they're happy with that, then that's great. If they love doing that, okay. But yeah. I know my workouts take around 1 hour 30 minutes. If I took 5 minutes between each set, it would take over 2 hours. Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, so some people don't have time for that. I suppose if you do like home workouts, you could just try and fit something else in between if you need to. For example, if you can have, like that, then you could always multitask or something and just, do some other chore or whatever, and just maybe just like, be a bit more efficient with your time instead of just waiting the 5 minutes, Maybe in that 5 minute break you could, for example, answer emails or do something productive. So do legs enough in one workout. Oh yeah. Like some people don't believe in like full body workouts and stuff, but I think if you don't do it too much volume, then you can recover from that. So depends on how often you're doing it. Well, there's some people say it's to do with like, some people struggle with like full body workouts instead of doing a lot of volume on legs and then upper body, but a lot of that just depends on how much like volume you're doing. If you're going too hard, then you could just do it more often. So you do like, what I do is I just have my own kind of schedule where I do daily stuff and just kind of do just enough to kind of like stimulate the muscles, but then I don't like burn myself out on any session really. I just kind of go with what is instinctive for me really, and just do like what we're doing now. So gonna do like these back widows, they call them. So it's like an upper back exercise. I'm almost at my first YT payout with just the donations. Kind of cool. That's good then. I've had a couple of payouts from YouTube on this channel. So you thought Mark was being a bit kind of like, what do you think, it's a bit shady or something like that? He would have people like that are, I don't know why he would. I was like wondering, like, why has he got someone like that as his mod? And the thing is, he knew I wasn't that happy about it, so I don't know. And it's like, he's known me for a while, so maybe he could have just like added me as one just for my own protection in there or something, but I'm not really bothered, whatever. It's like, but it is what it is. That's what I mean. Either remove the guy or give me one. But it was funny about adding any more mods. He was like, "Oh, I'm not adding any more mods." I remember when you were saying, I don't know if you've ever watched his streams, but like he was being a bit like, he was telling people that he weren't giving any more mods out because I think it was because like Stuart kept asking to be a mod, and then obviously that Stuart's been kind of like, there's been all these allegations and stuff about him, and he's not been to my chat ever since the whole kind of thing where I took his spanner away because I'd heard some stuff that had happened. So I was like, okay, I can't have this guy as my
spanner, there's obviously, it's not right, that is it, Because let's say if I got a mod in there, then that's protecting me then, isn't it? So, but, anyway, so yeah, I'm going to do the, it's like a lateral raise, but it's like a body weight equivalent of it. So what you do, I'll just show you with the, hang on, I'll just put the phone down. It's almost like, I don't know what's going on. It's like, when you're accusing me of being just as bad as Cabbage in my chat, and it's like, and he's obviously heard that I said that, and he's just acting like he hasn't even, like he's not even acknowledged it or anything. It's a bit disappointing really when, but whatever, I'm trying not to like hold any grudges, but I'm probably just gonna, not really be, you probably won't be able to see this very well, but alright, let me just sort that camera out. I don't know, there's just a lot of like shady characters in this whole thing. Like I said with Jace, I just don't know what to think about him. Just something seemed off about him as well, and that's why I don't like have anything to do with him anymore, because I kind of got friendly with him and I was like, I don't know, it just seemed all like it just seemed a bit fake to me. And Richard, like my mate, is like kind of saying, something off with that guy, and he reckons he's just trying to, I don't know, do like this kind of, but it just felt like there was these kind of like backhanded compliments and shit. Like it was like there was this kind of secret competition shit, and it felt a bit toxic to me, really. I don't know, I don't want to be getting into that. If I'm being honest, Stu gives me bad vibes. He wants to control everyone's channel. Yeah. Well, there's been some allegations about him. I don't need to go into like all the details, but because I'm not here to just try and kind of like bring the vibe down like that. But yeah, all I'm gonna say, there's some stuff people have said about him, and the fact that he's not been back since, it kind of speaks volumes, really. That he's took the wrench away from him, and then they still go into some of these channels and acting like nothing's going wrong and whatever. And it's like, it's just kind of, to be fair, he kind of come across as a bit of a creep from the get-go. Like, you can kind of like just get a vibe from people that are just like, there's something not quite right there. And the communities, like a lot of these communities have some bad eggs in them, so I don't understand. Well, it's just, shall we say, the guy, I believe, has a lot of skeletons in the closet. I think what he was trying to do was just to try and use it as a way to censor people. If anyone says anything against him, he would try to censor them. And that was what he wanted it for. So I mean, it's I'm not like all about that, I'm like, we shouldn't be abusing that kind of status. It's like, but I think he was just trying to do it, try and get the spanner so that he could abuse his authority as being a wrench. And that's what a lot of people want it for. That's why I'm reluctant to give people that, because I don't want them, messing up my chat. Because then it can just end up putting people off, and then people can start fighting against each other. You get mods fighting against each other and whatever, and I don't know. I remember I had an old channel and I had to like delete them all at one point. Alright. For my channel's safety, yeah, that's it, you know. Yeah, just, there seems to be a lot of, like, mess going on in your lives, like, with friggin', was it Body Beatdown? I know you were saying that you thought there was something off about that guy, but then there was someone making claims that that guy was lying or something, and, yeah, you were saying there was this kind of trollish kind of community that you probably don't really want to be part of this type of stuff. If it's just hostile and just all just kind of, you know, toxic like that, you know. Body Beatdown is cool. Alright, maybe it was just the other person was just part of this thing trying to try to kind of like spread lies or something. I mean, this exercise might look stupid, but maybe it's good to try. The only thing is, you're only working one side at a time, so arguably for like time efficiency, it's not the best, but I like to kind of incorporate this one sometimes. Yeah. The guy talking about him was lying, so he was lying about him lying. Yeah. I mean, Body Beatdown, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with him, but yeah. It's just, yeah, there's some bad apples out there. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. People are trying to cause chaos, trying to cause dissonance is what I'd call it. Yeah, I think that's the right word for it, that, you know, because the dissonance means a lack of harmony. So in music, it's like when two notes are playing and they all sound kind of like out of harmony. I believe you have him as a mod, but I'm not sure. I don't have Body Beatdown as a mod. I don't think I've ever had him in here, if I'm not mistaken. Hang on, what's the views like at the moment? Let's have a look. Wasn't even going to stay on this long, but 2 views left apparently, so it's gone very quiet. The guy that was lying, alright, I don't know. I don't remember the guy, but there's just some dodgy people out there, isn't there? It's just, I don't know. I don't really have that many mods on here anymore, so yeah, it's just, well, I never really have had that many. It's just, I like to keep it to a minimum, unless I trust the person. There's a lot of people just want to be mods, like I said before, that they just want to be mods just for their own ego or whatever, to feel like they have some authority. It's just, it's not for like a genuine reason that they wanted to help your channel. You know, because the way that they ask, it's like they're begging. But if they said it in a way that was like, you know, that made it seem like they're actually trying to help you, then okay, fair enough, but, you know. It's just like, yeah, people like act like, oh, I want to help you and all that bullshit, you know. It's like, are you for real? They don't give a fuck. It's their own egos and their own nefarious agendas at times. Like how you've got people like that Stuart, who's just like for power and control. I have a 9-hour shift tomorrow. Oh, blimey. Yeah. So you're gonna still be doing a workout tomorrow, you say then, or what you plan? What time we're on now?
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. I should really be getting going. Oh no, is he having a day off then? Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do, haven't you? But yeah. Any more questions before I go, guys? I should be back on tomorrow, so yeah. Yeah, 423 views, that's not bad, is it? Yeah, it's going better than it has been anyway. Just trying different things out, see what works. Obviously I've been doing the hashtags, so maybe that's been helping, do you think then? Because you were saying about doing the hashtags to help with reaching more people. Yeah, Eric Lapointe, he does like these hashtags and stuff. So yeah, it's about trying to like optimize these things to get more traction and stuff, but yeah. As long as I'm not spending all day doing that shit, then I don't mind. It's just, yeah. Some people spend so much time trying to optimize everything, but let's just try and get the basics down and just, yeah. And just leave it up to like the algorithm and your content itself to like flourish, you know. So if your content's that good, then maybe you don't rely on all these things as much, I don't know. Sometimes you'll get some video popping off and they didn't even do anything. They didn't have a, you know, special thumbnail. They didn't have even a special title or anything. It's just out some random video and it gets millions of views. It's just, you never know. Someone puts a whole bunch of work into a video, editing it all the time, and then it goes nowhere. So, you know, of course these are extreme examples, but you know, it's just it should be about what your passion is. Like, what is your passion about? Because that will come through in the video. Another thing, obviously you have a genuine passion for fitness and sports. So if that's something that you're into, then you should just keep going at that. Anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow, guys. Peace out. Bye.